Eli Savoy. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Sports 56 Middays on this Thanksgiving 2020 week, which does not feel anything like Thanksgiving, unfortunately. The weather, first of all, doesn't feel like it usually is this late in November, but we'll take it. Yesterday was a bit of a bad day weather-wise, but we have had a great run. Today looks like another nice day. There is some rain in the forecast, but the temperature has been pretty darn nice for late November. But just because of that other thing, what is that other thing? I can't put my finger on it. Oh, the COVID thing. It just doesn't feel the same. Families getting together, eating to their heart's content, watching football. Well, that's still going to happen. People are going to eat, and people are going to watch football. And we're going to talk about football. And we're going to talk about basketball. And we're going to talk about all things sports today here on Sports 56 Middays, the Monday, November 23rd, 2020 edition of the program. I am Greg Gaston. Co-hosting and producing the program today is Gabe Kuhn. Eli is off today, but he will return to the program tomorrow. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40, where their holidays and home sale is going on right now. When you stop by to check out all they have to offer at Family Leisure, ask for an official Sports 56 mask while supplies last, and make sure you wear the mask. Also, the first hour of the program is brought to you by Action247.com. There was a lot of action over the weekend, a lot to get into. We'll dive into the Memphis Tigers basketball scene as they get ready to head to South Dakota today for their first game on Wednesday, which has been moved up to 1 o'clock Central against St. Mary's. They had some news over the weekend. They have added an assistant coach for at least 1 year, a familiar face to many basketball fans in the area, so we will dive into that news. Plus, the Grizzlies have made some moves. They have signed some players that were given offer sheets, some familiar names back in the fold. They're going to have to make a couple moves, I believe, with the roster, but for the most part, that roster is pretty set. We will talk Grizzlies. Also, the NBA free agency over the weekend was just crazy. Big name after big name, not so big name after not so big name. Still waiting on a couple of things, whether or not the Greek Freak will accept the Supermax with the Bucks. Anthony Davis is going to stay with the Lakers, but he has yet to sign his deal. But a lot of familiar faces moving to different places, so we will dive into that as camps open up on December 1st. Of course, college football in the air. There were a record 18 games either postponed or canceled, but your Memphis Tigers in action over the weekend. And after a very slow start, they took care of business. Now they get set for Navy. We'll recap their game. We'll recap other games in the American Conference, around the SEC, and around the nation. We'll be joined by Barrett Sallee at 11:25 to talk college football. And then, of course, the NFL. Pretty wild game last night in Las Vegas between the Chiefs and the Raiders. Tonight, we will have Monday Night Football for you right here on Sports 56 and, of course, 96.1, 98.5 as the Rams will take on the Bucks. So we'll recap the NFL weekend as well. And we have 5 favorite songs. Don't forget about 5 favorite songs. That comes your way at 12:05. Today, the topic is Doctor. Any song with the word doc or doctor in the title, you could text in right now on the First Bank text line, 67129. You can always text us 24/7. And if you're watching us live, you can message us with those lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Before we do anything else, let me welcome in our producer extraordinaire, playing co-host today, wearing a couple of hats today, Mr. Gabe Kuhn. How are you?
I am great. I'm great.
So what's the Thanksgiving plans for you?
I will be doing nothing at all. I am sort of following along with what health departments are saying, and I'm not traveling. So I will be in Memphis at my house watching football.
Yeah, and I realize there's going to be a lot of people that will still be traveling. They'll still be flying. They'll still be driving. They'll be getting together with families because that's what they want to do. And, you know, I can't hold it against them. I understand it completely. So just be careful if that's what you're going to do. But also, the new The newly issued Shelby County health directives are in effect starting today, and they are definitely impacting restaurants along with gyms, school sports, telling you when to wear the mask, how long these restaurants and bars can be open. So it's getting a little bit stiffer now. We look like for a while there, they were starting to ease the mandates, and now all of a sudden they're tightening their strings again with the numbers of COVID-19 positive tests and hospitalizations that have gone up not only in our area but around the country. We'll get to the Memphis Tigers in a second. They are heading to the hottest spot in the country for COVID-19, South Dakota, which is just absolutely insane, the numbers. Not the total numbers because they don't have a huge population, but the percentage is wild. But right now in Shelby County, now in effect today, with any establishment that serves food and or alcoholic beverages, it's a limit occupancy to 50%. All places of business will close at 10. Limit groups dining together to 6 people, but no more than 4 adults. And here's the one that's just, this is the one that I think is going to really, really hurt restaurants that expect to have people in their establishments for Thanksgiving. They're requiring patrons to wear masks at all times except when actually eating a bite of food or drinking a beverage. That's what it says, eating a bite of food or drinking a beverage. Normally, you've been able to go into the restaurant wearing a mask, and then when you sit at your table, you take the mask off and you eat, right?
Yes, precisely.
Now they want you every time you take a bite to put the mask back on, to chew it, to swallow, take the mask off again, and do it again. Repeat. That is, I think that's going to be the straw that broke the camel's back for people because they're not going to want to do that. There's just no enjoyment. Plus, you can't get together with more than 4 or 6 people, or 6 people and 4 adults. And look, I understand the mandates, but what I'm saying is I think this is really going to hurt the restaurants in the area on Thanksgiving where people normally go and frequent, because not everybody cooks. A lot of people will be cooking their own food, but a lot of people like to actually go to the restaurant. Instead, though, folks, if you don't plan on cooking and you don't want to go to the restaurant because of these mandates, you can still look for takeout from those restaurants and to bring it home, which helps the establishments.
I'm really curious how they enforce that. If you have a plate of food in front of you and you're eating, I don't know how they tell you to put your mask on. That seems very, I don't know. Seems like it wouldn't work very well, considering people actually have to spoonful or get a forkful of food into their mouth. But
it seems impossible.
I mean, realistically, though, what restaurants are going to take a hit on that one for Thanksgiving? Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, but it's no. There's nice restaurants that have great turkey options and food for Thanksgiving that are open. This is not Christmas. Most restaurants are closed. Thanksgiving, most restaurants are open. But remember, it's not just Thanksgiving. It's every single day while this new mandate and regulations are in the play. It is going to hurt. Restaurants have already been hurt. It is going to hurt restaurants more. Again, on one hand, I understand where the Shelby County Department of Health is coming from. The numbers are spiking. On the other hand, you feel bad for local businesses, like I've done from the beginning. If I can, and I'm eating takeout, my wife cooks a lot, or we get stuff from the store and just bring it home, but we'll go to the restaurant and we'll get takeout and we'll bring it home. And I think that's what's going to end up happening for us on Thanksgiving, because we were actually planning on going out.
Where to?
Now, we were going to a country club, which is a little different. The country clubs will still be open. But I would imagine, though, you still don't want to do it because of the numbers and be around a lot of people. So I think we're going to actually do the takeout. We're going to have them put it together and bring it home. I think that's what the game plan is right now. So, look, my wife is up there with my grandson in Pennsylvania, and I know they say not to travel. Well, my grandson has already had one operation, has another operation coming up in December, and she said, look, I'm sorry, I'm going to see my grandson. And I understand that. A lot of people are in that similar situation. I think a good portion of the people around are doing what they are supposed to do. They're pretty responsible. There's some people that aren't, that say, look, I don't want to be bothered by this. And, again, do what you think is right. But I think for the most part, when you go to the store, people wear masks, right? You go to now the gym's going to be interesting, because I don't know now if they're mandating you wear the masks or they're just encouraging you.
Well,
to wear
I
the
mean,
masks.
if you have to wear it after every bite that you take at a restaurant, I'd have to imagine at the gym you'd be more inclined to wear it.
You would think, but I was just reading these new mandates, and it said they are not. It doesn't say required. It says we are encouraging. Now, I always wear my mask when I go to the gym, and I just started back in the gym 2 months ago. I didn't go all summer long because of the COVID, but I'm in there, and it's all young people. I'm over there like Spotswood. Is it Spotswood? Over there by the Target?
Yes.
Colonial, that area?
area.
Oh, my gosh. It's all the kids from the University of Memphis. It's all young people and like me and like 2 other older people. But I always wear my mask. So, anyway, be careful. Enjoy. Don't look, COVID has ruined a lot of businesses, has ruined a lot of lives, but enjoy. Be with your family. Don't go crazy, but be with your family if you want to be with your family. So this week, full show today for us, full show tomorrow. Wednesday, we will broadcast up until 12:30, and then we'll hand things over to the Ole Miss Radio Network. They have their first basketball game. And remember, Kermit Davis is not coaching in their first couple of games because of COVID-19. But their first game is Wednesday, and at 12:30, we'll go to the pregame show. And then no show on Thursday, and there is no show for us on Friday as well. So it'll be a shortened week, but we have a lot that we're gonna jam-pack into the program. Again, Eli will return tomorrow, and today it is all about the weekend and what's ahead this week. I want to open up with the University of Memphis and their men's basketball program. If you missed it over the weekend, a couple of notes from the weekend that happened. First of all, former Melrose High School basketball coach Jermaine Johnson has been hired by Penny Hardaway to coach on his staff for this season. It's a 1-year deal, but it could turn into more. They're very close, Penny and Jermaine. Jermaine has coaching experience at the college level, at Troy as an assistant, UT Martin as an assistant, same at Georgia Southern. So it's not like he comes in without any prior collegiate coaching experience. He has that. There's been a lot of people, a lot of names as well that have applied for this opening. But Penny Hardaway, as he said last week, the end of last week, to the media, that this was the game plan. He didn't say the name, but he said it was the game plan to bring somebody in. I think he even mentioned local ties, but for a year, and then we'll see what happens from there. So it may not be a permanent gig. Then again, it could turn into a permanent gig. So Jermaine will be with the team as they fly out today to South Dakota, to Sioux Falls, to begin their season on Wednesday. The Tigers, even though there's been a number of people, including myself, that have come out and said, why are you really going to play in this tournament? They are still going to play. And West Virginia will not be on their side of the bracket. So there's no guarantee that they'll play West Virginia unless it's in the championship game. We do know they'll play St. Mary's. That's the only thing we know right now, and that'll be Wednesday. That game is now going to be played at 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock, well, Ole Miss is playing their first game. Memphis is playing their first game in Sioux Falls. They'll be taking on St. Mary's. That game will be on ESPN2. So you can watch the first game of the season for the Tigers. Again, this year only 27 games as opposed to the normal 31. 3 in this tournament. So after this tournament, Tigers only have 4 non-conference games remaining, and then the 20 conference games moved up from 18 to 20. The other bit of news they got over the weekend was good news. Really good news. Moussa Cisse has been cleared by the NCAA to play. He'd already been cleared to practice, but he wasn't cleared to play in games. He's now been cleared. Now, with the NCAA, just because they say he's eligible now doesn't mean they won't say he's ineligible in a week. The NCAA plays games, Gabe. We know that firsthand.
Yeah. Last year, I think a lot of people remember that. So don't get too ahead of yourself. I think this one's completely fine. That was a good bit of news to get, considering all the things I heard last week about him not being eligible. So good to see Moussa is actually going to be able to play and get some time with the Tigers.
We still don't know about DeAndre Williams, and my assumption is that, and I don't know this for fact, if he's not eligible today and they travel, I imagine he can't go with the team. Would that be right, Gabe?
He might be able to travel with the team, but he can't play.
Because you could turn around and not be able to play Wednesday, and then the NCAA can announce Wednesday night that he's eligible, and then he'd be able to play Thursday or Friday.
Yeah,
so as long as he's allowed to go, he's
my experience with those things, especially in football, you get to travel with with the squad. You just can't play. You're probably on the outside sort of looking in.
So I imagine DeAndre will be with the team just in case the NCAA makes a decision. This one's not on the NCAA. It just seems to be on Evansville. And just them screwing around is really hurting this young man trying to play the season, become immediately eligible. There is some breaking news now that is bad news for the University of Memphis men's basketball program. This comes from Ole Miss. Due to positive COVID-19 tests and contact tracing within the Ole Miss men's basketball program, the Justin Reed Ole Miss Classic, November 25th through the 27th, and the matchup against Memphis, December 5th, has been canceled. Team activities have been suspended until December 7th. The student, athletes, and staff affected are taking appropriate safety measures in accordance with university protocol. So it's not just Kermit Davis. It is an outbreak within the men's basketball program at Ole Miss. So let me scratch what I said about Wednesday. I think Wednesday will be a complete show up until 1 o'clock, and we'll talk to the boss, Eli, when he comes in tomorrow about our schedule for Friday. I don't know what it means with Ole Miss now not playing their Justin Reed Ole Miss Classic, but this is really tough for those players and for that team getting ready for the season. And now Memphis will probably scurry to try to add another opponent on their non-conference schedule.
You would think they have stayed in this Bad Boy Mowers Classic the entire time. They haven't really strayed off that path. So I would imagine they try to replace it, but this is just becoming – it is a full-time job keeping up with what game is on the schedule, what game's off the schedule, who's playing. It has become a pain in the butt, really.
And this is basketball. We haven't even had one basket scored this year. They haven't started the season yet, and already games are – off. There's also who was the team that canceled from this weekend in Connecticut? Did you see that story? Look that up for me if you can, Gabe. There's a team that had to back out because Baylor, I think, had some positive tests, and it may have been Arizona State, and they decided that they're not going to play. So basketball is getting hit before the season even starts. Of course, with college football, which we'll get to in just a few moments, they had a record-breaking amount of cancellations and postponements over the weekend, Saturday, with 18 total. That goes back to midweek as well, but 18. We've already got 3 for this weekend coming up. And remember, you got the big rivals going at it this weekend. It's a rivalry week. It always is during Thanksgiving. We got the Egg Bowl. We got the Iron Bowl. We will not have the battle for the Apple Cup. Washington and Washington State has been postponed. No, it has been canceled. They are not going to make that game up because they have no time. So now when you start to hear more of these games that are off, start thinking more on the lines of cancellations and not necessarily postponements because it just does not seem like there's enough time. So we have that going on in college football. We have that going on with college basketball. In the meantime, the National Football League continues to play games, continues to do a great job with their protocol with COVID-19 testing. We'll get into the NFL later on in the show. But, man, oh, man, that is a mixed bag of news for the Tigers right off the bat. The good news of the decision by the NCAA to grant Moussa Cisse eligibility right away. He'll play Wednesday. Jermaine Johnson, a part of the coaching staff now, but now they have realized they will not have to play, or they will not play Ole Miss, and they will have to, I'm sure, find a replacement for Ole Miss. They'll want to play that extra non-conference game that they're going to miss. And I would think that Memphis and Ole Miss will get together and reschedule that game, which is the last game in the home-and-home series. They played in Memphis last year. I would imagine they'll reschedule that, if not next year, maybe the season after. Boy, so much going on. When we return, we're going to get into the Grizzlies and the moves that were made over the weekend by the Grizz. Also from the NBA, just player after player in free agency. What is it doing to shake up the NBA? Well, not much at the top, because the top, meaning the rich, get richer. We'll tell you about that. Marc Gasol is back in the NBA after it looked like his NBA career was done and he was going to play the rest of his career in his native Spain. Not the case. We'll tell you those details. And a lot of huge contracts handed out, even with COVID-19 and the financial difficulties because of COVID-19 that the NBA and really every sport has faced. They're still able to dish out a lot of money in the National Basketball Association. Well, Landmark Construction and Emergency Services is one of our terrific sponsors, and they deal with water damage at your home or at your business, because it can be an absolute nightmare. The faster you remove the standing water, the faster you can prevent secondary damage. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services specializes in water extraction. They've been a trusted name in the Mid-South for over 20 years. They're a Memphis-based company ready to serve your needs with their 24-hour emergency response. They are always on call. I mean always on call, and they'll respond within an hour. They work with most insurance companies and are the official restoration contractor of the Memphis Tigers. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services can't prevent disasters in your home or at your business, but their water damage team will certainly respond quickly to minimize and restore the damage. So if you have any water issues at your home or business, please don't delay. Call now, 901-452-0390. That's 901-452-0390. Let the experts take care of it. Online, you can check them out at landmarkco.org. We are off and rolling. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
Let Dave Voloshin and Brett Nordsworthy take you home with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
All 36-month leases, $31.49 due at signing, 0 security deposit, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, LE 242,174, MSRP 20,505, sold, M7755, 682, MSRP 20,315, K5, MG 03199, MSRP 25,725, K900, MSRP 65,610, L60 26,907, L60 21,220, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit offer valid through 11/30/2020, dealer stock only, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty, see Kia.com or retailer for details.
It's time for the Kia Holiday Sales Event and time to command the season in your new ride from Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. 2020 Kia Forte, just $133 a month lease. 2021 Kia Soul, only $148 a month lease. Plus 2021 Kia K5, only $189 a month lease. And they're all 36 months, $31.49 due at signing. And don't miss the 2020 Kia K900. We got it at $10,000 off MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMoriah.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Make your next grill your last grill with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, or grill. It's amazing. Ceramic will not rust, but will provide the best radiant heat, keeping your food crisp on the outside and juicy on the inside. Just ask Big Green Egg users how great the food is. And it comes with a lifetime guarantee. Make your next grill your last grill by purchasing a Big Green Egg at any of the following stores: Cordova Ace Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, and East Memphis Ace Hardware.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Hey, Hey, I heard that you just got a new car.
Yes, I sure did, and I could not believe how simple it was.
Really? Tell me what happened.
I bought my car at Cars Inc. They are family owned, and the choices of cars were the best I've ever seen. They even said they could price match with anyone and help me with whatever financing I needed.
Wow, it does sound like they know what they are doing.
Their family has been in the car business for over 30 years, and they're excited about being in Memphis.
Where are they?
5095 Cummington Way, and their phone number is 901-623-7180.
Is the cost of finishing the basement worth the benefit of some peace and quiet? When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing can help you find answers with personalized planning tools and insights to help you get where you want to go, even if it's just downstairs. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Cause I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner.
Welcome back, everybody. 10:28 is the time on this Monday, November 23rd, 2020. A little thing we call Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston and Gabe Kuhn. Eli is off today. He will return tomorrow. Already big news as Ole Miss has closed up their men's basketball shop for a while. The tournament will not be played down at the Pavilion. Memphis will not be playing on the 5th either. So Ole Miss will be put on the shelf until December 7th as far as basketball activities are concerned. I was talking about the Arizona State deal, and I couldn't exactly remember which tournament. It was the Empire Classic. So Arizona State has dropped out of that. That tournament was being played at the Mohegan Sun, and they dropped out because the team they were playing, Baylor, Scott Drew, had tested positive for COVID-19, but I believe Baylor's still involved in the tournament, so Arizona State drops out of that. Also, Florida has put everything on pause. They were going to play in the Mohegan Sun at that casino resort in a different event against a couple of teams, and they have also bailed out of that. So a lot of teams deciding here at the last second that it's not going to be worth their while. And, of course, it's last second for a lot of them because they're just getting news on this information of COVID-19 positive tests. Memphis, again, heading to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They expect to be playing Wednesday at 1 o'clock in their season opener against St. Mary's in the Bad Boy Mowers Crossover Classic. Also, if you missed it over the weekend, it was actually yesterday, I believe, while it was a busy NFL Sunday, Auburn announcing that they are self-imposing a postseason ban for the 2020-2021 season, which makes you believe that the allegations are extremely serious. Not only the allegations, but maybe what they found or what they know the NCAA has found, and they're trying to beat them to the punch with a penalty.
I hate these. I hate the self-imposed penalties. First of all, I don't think it's going to stop the NCAA from doing anything. And second of all, like I thought you were supposed to, in these situations, for the most part, and I say for the most part, like maintain your innocence to a certain extent. Because now you're telling the NCAA, actually, oh, we did this. We did an internal investigation and found that we were guilty, so we self-imposed. Mm-hmm. You guys are right. We were guilty.
Well, sometimes when you're caught,
so
you're
punish
caught,
us.
Gabe.
But I don't know.
See, I guess what they're looking at is
know.
here's what they're looking at. This year's screwed up anyway. This season is screwed up. It's limited amount of games. There's going to be an asterisk next to every.
That's why I'm saying
Auburn
doing this and imposing this season as their postseason ban is going to look weird to the NCAA.
Well, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it and say they're trying to beat them to the punch. Let's hope that that's enough of a penalty. Therefore, they don't miss next season or any season after that. Let's go ahead, get it out of the way, tell them, yes, we did this. We're going to stay out of the NCAA postseason. They got a good team. They lost some players to the NBA, but they have a good team that is expected to be back in the tournament. Is it going to be enough? Probably not. It never is, but it does seem like it does lessen the blow, at least from what I've seen in the past of teams self-imposing penalties. They still get something, but it's never as harsh as I think it should be or what I thought it would have been without the self-imposed penalties.
I mean, If you can name an example where it softened the blow.
I'd have to go back and do research on
right,
this. Right,
I just can't think of anything off the top of my head where a self-imposed penalty has actually softened the blow from the NCAA.
All right, well,
because they're adding on top of probably the harsh stuff
I
that
understand.
you have imposed.
I understand, but they could have given anything from a multiple years, 2-3 years, to the what's the institutional? You lost institutional control. What do they call that? What do they deem that penalty against the coach? When they lose,
the show cause.
The show cause. There could be all kinds of things that could come into play, but I think there are examples. I just don't know them off the top of my head.
Real quick, some news about the Crossover Classic in South Dakota. There will no longer be any fans allowed in attendance. Probably the right move there.
So they know it's that bad where they're not going to allow any fans there. Yet it's still here, open arms. Come on up. Come on to South Dakota, where the beaches are fantastic. The water is just warm as hell. And I'm sorry, that would be the Caribbean. That wouldn't be South Dakota. Oh, and we're good because we don't have a lot of people, so COVID, it hasn't even crossed our borders. No, we're the highest percentage of COVID-19 currently in the United States. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. All right, let me move on to the Grizzlies. And I guess for many people, this makes a lot of sense, re-upping with DeAnthony Melton. According to, I think this is official now from the Grizzlies, but they do not divulge the financial information. But according to Bobby Marks and Woj and other people that have gone on social media and have given these details, DeAnthony Melton will make $35 million over 4 years. Not all of it's guaranteed. So DeAnthony Melton back in the fold. I thought he was bad in the bubble, but I thought he was terrific last season. Good rotation player. John Conchar, who was a two-way player, gets a 4-year deal worth $9 million. They like John Conchar. He's a deep bench reserve guy. And then here's a guy who is, they don't think it's that expensive to take a shot with Jonte Porter, who had his issues with his knee at Mizzou. 3 years, $6 million. He was on the team last year, obviously didn't play. And if he's healthy, he'll get his shot. But those three guys, we're all given those qualifying offers. They all will remain with the Grizzlies. Josh Jackson, we wondered as the season progressed whether or not the Grizzlies would sign him. Well, we know the answer is no. He has signed with the Detroit Pistons. So it was a 1-year hello, goodbye for Josh Jackson. Other than that, the Grizzlies, according to what I've added up, and I think I used the new math to add this up, 17 players under contract after, not under contract yet, but after Tillman signs, Xavier Tillman, the second-round guy, and this isn't the second rounder they plan to cut. This is the guy that's going to be on the roster. They have 17. And they also have the two-way players that will be up, and I think they could be up a lot more than normal years with the big team. So of the 17, I believe you still can only carry 15 unless they've raised the rosters, the amount of players you can have on your roster, which I don't think they have. So you're talking 15, Gabe. That means they're going to have to make 2 cuts. Again, somebody text in at 67129 if I have this wrong, but I believe it's 17 players. They won't have Anthony Tolliver anymore. Yuta Watanabe was a two-way guy. They won't have him anymore. They have their new two-way guys. Conchar's back. Porter's back. Melton's back, as I just mentioned. So you picked up, in the deal for Desmond Bane, to get his draft rights, you had to trade 2 second-round picks to Boston and cash considerations to Portland. Portland got Enes Kanter, by the way, from Boston. The Grizzlies got the rights to Desmond Bane, who they took at the end of the first round, the sharpshooter from TCU. But they also picked up a veteran forward by the name of Mario Hezonja, who most people know has been in the NBA for about 5 years. Whether or not he sticks with the team, I don't know. I think he may. But if you have to make 2 moves, you got to figure, Gabe, they'll probably buy out Mario Guduric. And then it's either going to be Hezonja or it could be Gorgui Dieng. But if you have Jaren Jackson Jr. on the shelf, which you do, we already know that from Zach Kleiman at the beginning of the season, you're already thin with the forwards, with the bigs. So I don't know if they can afford to let him go. And I don't know how much Xavier Tillman's going to be ready to play in the NBA right off the bat. Desmond Bane may be a different ball game, but I think you're deep on the wing and at point guard, but you're thin up front. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I think they have to make two moves. The camps open up on December 1st. The season starts December 22nd. But other than that, there's really no more moves to be made by the Grizzlies unless, a trade were to happen. But I think they're pretty much set.
It seems that way, but it's weird because you're at a point now where with DeAnthony Melton getting his offer and staying, you are so deep on the wing. And I don't know what Desmond Bane's going to be year one. Obviously, he's an older guy, so you would hope that he comes in pretty pro-ready. But you are just, between Justice Winslow, between Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, DeAnthony Melton, it's just you wonder who's going to get that significant time come season.
Look, you don't have to rush Bane, but if Bane's ready to go and he's that good, then you put Bane in there. I don't think he starts. I would imagine that the starting five to begin the season with Jaren Jackson Jr. not ready to go and with Justice Winslow not ready to go at the beginning of the season, but hopefully very soon after, I would think you are going to have a lineup of John Morant, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, Brandon Clark, and Jonas Valanciunas. So if you got Brandon Clark starting, which you had to do a lot last year because of the injury to Jaren Jackson Jr., where is your depth? Your second unit? What are you talking about here? You're going to have to go small ball pretty much in Gorgui Dieng if he remains on the team. So I think that's going to hurt them early in the season. Now, how competitive will they be? After we all thought they would be dreadful last summer, I'm not about to sit here and proclaim, oh, yeah, they're going to be bad, because they always find a way. And I have a lot of faith in Zach Kleiman and Tayshaun Prince in that front office. And what Taylor Jenkins and that coaching staff have done, these guys come ready to play and to compete. But let's be honest. You don't have Triple J. You don't have Winslow. We still haven't seen Winslow in a game. I don't think they're going to be that competitive early on until those guys are back and then maybe competitive enough where they can fight to be one of those teams that is involved in the play-in. Maybe 9th or 10th. But come on, let's be honest. Let's look around at these rosters around the NBA and what these teams have done. And it's not just the West where some teams that were lukewarm last year have gotten a lot better. There's some teams in the East, some dregs that have just, what happened? Charlotte, Atlanta, putting some money into their organizations and are all in to try to make it to the postseason.
Now, I want to clarify. When I'm talking about the roster and the wing depth, I'm talking about it at full strength. Now, obviously, they won't be at full strength come game one. But
right.
The problem you have when you're 1 year into this rebuild and they just killed expectations last year is now there's expectations. And now the fans are going to expect, okay, well, we should be in a spot to maybe get that 8th spot again, when the reality of the matter is the roster doesn't look that way. The roster, it never looks that way.
People don't want to hear we're building for the future. Just wait till next year or the year after that. People are impatient. We're all impatient. The media is impatient. But here's the other thing. As you're building for the future, so are other teams building for the future. You're not the only one building for the future. So if you can at least be as competitive as you were last year, people will enjoy that. They know people are intelligent. They don't expect you to knock off the Lakers. Come on, for goodness sakes. But if you're down there battling to get into a position to try to make the postseason, and again, they're going to do what they did in the bubble. There's been some tweaks. It's a little bit different. But if you're on the top 10, right, that 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th are battling to get into the regular postseason.
Yeah, but when you go look at true, absolutely,
which is going to be one of those 10.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When you look at some of the things that happened in the offseason, obviously I think the Warriors will be back in there even without Klay Thompson. They'll be back in the fold. You look at the Suns adding Chris Paul, they're most certainly going to be probably a playoff team. Do you think the Spurs are going to be as bad as they were last year? I'm not so positive. And then the Kings, who have been there for a while, are they going to be as bad and slump as bad as last year? I just think there's a lot of strength in the West, and it's going to be tough for the Grizzlies to be one of those top 10 teams.
I think New Orleans picking up Steven Adams will really help them, plus a veteran backup point guard in Eric Bledsoe. I think people are counting them out. Denver's going to be strong again. Utah's going to be strong again. Minnesota went with Anthony Edwards in the draft. I don't think Minnesota will be that good a team, and I think that you'll see a drop-off from Houston a little bit, but right now they still have Harden, and they still have Westbrook, and they still have Eric Gordon.
And if they trade one of those pieces, if they trade a Harden or a Westbrook, the return they'll get will probably be pretty good. That's my guess.
Yeah, I would imagine that it would be. Phoenix, as you mentioned, I mean, they have really improved. The Lakers and the Clippers are at the top of the Delta Pledge class. It's going to be extremely hard. I don't see where we've had any team really drop off with the exception of Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's in an absolute rebuild, yet they still picked up Al Horford. But I think the Grizzlies are a better team than them. I am not going to sell the Grizzlies short. I did it last summer. I wasn't the only one, and I'm not going to do it again. But what hurts is that they're going to open the season without Triple J and Justice Winslow, and that makes it real thin with that roster to compete in the West, where at least 3-4 teams that weren't even in the mix last year have improved greatly.
Now granted, I understand not wanting to count them out, right? But at the same time, I think based on the roster they have, and I think this was the same thing you could say last year, based on the roster they have, you can't expect, the expectation shouldn't be let's get a playoff spot.
No. When I say what I hope that they do and don't count them out is being competitive. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Being competitive. Like they were every game last year. It seemed there was a few blowouts, but they seemed competitive.
Have a winning record at home,
Just
I
have a chance in the fourth quarter to beat some of these teams, and I think full strength they have that opportunity in most cases, but without a couple of those guys to begin the season, they are absolutely thin up front, really thin, and I think teams will exploit that. Lawn Solutions is a locally owned weed control fertilization company that serves the greater Memphis area. Brandon Holly is the owner of this company. He has a team of professionals that can take care of your lawn and do it the right way. You can go to LawnSolutionsInc.net to find out more about them or give them a call at 901-867-5626, 901-867-5626, and ask for Brandon. Tell me you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. They'll kill the weeds, get you that green, plush, beautiful lawn that you've always wanted. They control the germination of weeds all year long. They're applying pre-emergence during the winter months and post-emergence during the summer months. Therefore, you see those Lawn Solutions trucks around the Mid-South all year long. They can take care of any disease your lawn has or any insect infestation. It's never too early or too late to think about getting rid of those weeds, even though we are approaching December. Like I said, they take care of it all year long. So when spring is sprung, the weeds aren't sprung. Lawn Solutions, LawnSolutionsInc.net on the web, 901-867-5626. We'll continue with the recap of the weekend. We've talked some Grizzlies and some Memphis men's basketball. How about the college football scene? We'll dive into that and a Tigers win over Stephen F. Austin when we return. This is Sports 56 Middays.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Hey everybody, it's the best time of the year to come out here to Olive Branch and get that new All-Star Chevy Silverado or Tahoe or one of these perfect new Suburbans. This is the deal. We asked All-Star Chevy to get what everybody wants for the holidays, and guess what? They went out and got them, and the deals are spot on. Seriously, these will go fast, so come out this week if you can. All-Star Chevy has more new Silverados 2020 and 2021. Lots of the new third-row seating Traverses. And you could still get thousands in cash back. If you want pre-owned, Olive Branch is the place to be. Look, All-Star Chevy's certified pre-owned Chevrolets, they have the best selection I've seen anywhere. And remember, it's not Mount Moriah or South Haven, not Collierville or The Pike. It's gotta be Olive Branch, people. And everyone at All-Star Chevy has one job, just one job, to make sure you have more fun, you get the best deal on what you want, and in record time. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road in Olive Branch or online at allstarautogroup.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We can help you out and get you ready for the colder weather ahead. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Spend the holidays at home this year with a little help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure has so many spas in stock and hundreds more on order. Now's your time to really save big. Huge savings on pool tables, game tables, arcades, massage chairs, and a whole lot more. Buy a pool now and save the 2021 price increase. Plus, you'll get early installation scheduling. The Holidays at Home sale happening now at Family Leisure, Whidden Road at I-40, where family and fun come together for the holidays.
It's buyback days. Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you pay a big repair bill on your existing heating and air conditioning system this year? Is your energy-guzzling heating and air conditioning system on its last leg and you think it's worth nothing? Good news, it's buyback days at Conway Services. We'll buy back your repair this year up to $1,500 toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. That's right, we'll buy back your repair up to $1,500 even if we didn't do the repair. Just show us the receipt from another company and we'll buy back the repair. If you didn't have a repair bill this year, we'll give you up to $1,500 trade-in for that old energy-guzzling system toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. When air conditioning systems get older and inefficient, the cost of repairs and high utility costs can almost pay for a new system. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company today, and the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old heating and air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Kick off your New Year's weekend at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Thursday, December 31st at 3 o'clock. Top teams from the SEC and Big 12 will be here. We'll be following all of the required health and safety guidelines to provide you the safest conditions possible. So wear your mask and join us at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. For tickets, call 795-7700 or go to Ticketmaster.com. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Greg and Gabe. Eli off today. He'll return tomorrow. Don't forget to get your 5 favorite songs in. The topic today is Doctor, songs with the word doctor in the title. We'll do that at 12:05. You can text in at 67129. If you are watching us live, you can message us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. You know, one thing I was thinking about, Gabe, before we get to some texts here and keep those texts rolling in at 67129 was, I assumed just for a second there that Ole Miss and Memphis can't play the game later in the year, but they certainly could. The way scheduling's going now, I guess they could
fluid.
do it.
Our favorite word, fluid.
Exactly. I guess they could do that. Now, I don't know if Ole Miss would want to do that once they get into SEC play, and Memphis would want to get into it once they get into American Conference play. But there may be some dates in the middle part of December heading toward the holidays before they really get deep into the conference. So I guess it's not out of the question. Normally I would say, like I did, well, they'll try to probably reschedule that game for maybe next season or the season after. I don't think they'll drop it. They'll probably make it up at some time. But in this day and age, who knows?
Oh, my God.
Maybe they'll play December 8th.
The 2020 schedule speculation has been just it is a cluster. I don't know what to think. I don't know what's going to be played. All of it's just complete speculation. Hopefully, I think everyone wants to see that game played still. No questions asked, but who knows? Who knows when they can get it in, how they will get it in. It's a good RPI game. For both teams, it's a good RPI non-conference game. All right, you got some texts to read? Absolutely, got a couple texts. This is about the what you mentioned at the beginning of the show about COVID-19 and the restrictions they're going to put on as far as masks in restaurants. Someone said just ate at Cracker Barrel, and I brought up Cracker Barrel just, tongue-in-cheek.
Good eating at Cracker Barrel.
Took a mask off to eat breakfast, left, no problem. And this is the restrictions and regulations you were talking about are going to be put in. They're not fully in yet.
No, they're in today.
Today.
At 12:01 this morning. But did that?
So if that texter ate there today.
Yeah. Did they do what the regulations are now supposed to? People are supposed to do with the new regulations. Did they take a bite, put the mask on, chew, swallow, take the mask off, take another bite, put the mask on? No, they probably took the mask off, ate their breakfast, and then put their mask on and left the restaurant. We're not talking about that. They have changed it now to every single bite or drink.
I I don't know if
or
I
sip
take
of your beverage.
I don't know if I take enough time in between my bites to put a mask
I'm
back
telling
on.
you again, what the mandate is now in Shelby County is to go into a restaurant, wear your mask, sit down. You've ordered now with a mask on. Your food comes, or if it's some kind of in line to like at Swanky's or something, and then you sit down. You take your mask off. You take a bite. You put the mask back on. You chew. You swallow. You take the mask off. You take a bite, you put the mask back on. That's what they're saying now.
That is a labor-intensive way of eating. That is very labor-intensive.
It's kind of like double dipping. You take a chip, you put in the dip, you take a bite, and then you dipped again. Next time, one. No, I forget it. Anyway, what else you got?
Someone's talking about the self-imposed sanctions at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Said it's like getting in trouble with your parents and then spanking yourself so your parent will leave you alone. I agree. I think it's foolish. I think it's foolhardy to think that the NCAA won't come in and slap you again.
Well, you know what the NCAA should do is say just a blanket statement and say, listen, you can self-impose all you want, all right? We're still going to hand down the same penalty that we would have before you did this. So, therefore, you're wasting your time. But they haven't done that. So, again, schools feel like they're beating them to the punch by doing that.
And doesn't it sort of feel like we're in an in-between mode of like where the NCAA is about to lose a little bit of power and then the IARP's in the fold and they have not handed out a decision yet, so people just don't know what the future of the penalties will be.
That's true.
I think that's sort of where we're at with that and why we've seen more self-imposed sanctions this year. Now, someone else asks, how does a washed-up Gordon Hayward, who has done nothing at Boston, get $30 million a year?
That is a mystery within a riddle within a. I mean, I don't get it. I think he's a good, solid player. When he was really healthy to start his NBA career, he's really good, and I understand the first big contract he got. But I think this is a case of Charlotte getting a name. He's still a name. Gordon Hayward's a big name, and to be able to bring a big name in, I think, was important to them. They have LaMelo Ball in the draft. They have some other pieces. It's Michael Jordan's team. They're willing to spend some of their money. But I'm with the texter. I don't get it with Gordon Hayward. He has made – this is a $120 million deal with Charlotte. I don't know how much of it's guaranteed. But you couple that with the Boston deals, my gosh. This guy's made so much money, and he's been injured. That is a big issue, especially, look, in all sports, for goodness sakes. But in the NBA, Gabe, the guys that have had injured pasts, Chandler Parsons.
Yeah, I was going to bring Chandler up.
But Memphis, maybe Charlotte's in the same boat as Memphis. You're not able to bring, even with Michael Jordan as your owner, you're not able to bring in big names. So let's get everyone excited that Gordon Hayward's 100% now. He's ready to go. He came back. He played the end of the season for Boston. He was in the bubble. But, so it may not be as bad as Chandler Parsons. Let's hope for Charlotte's sake it's not. But I am with the texter. I'm like,
I think it's very similar to Chandler.
I can't believe that somebody's going to throw out that type of money again for that guy.
I think it's very similar to Chandler. You got a guy who had a very, very severe injury, a couple severe injuries at this point.
Right.
And the production is there. I'm not going to act like it's not. He played 52 games last year, averaged nearly 18 points a game. So the production's there. But if we're going to even remotely act like it is on par with what you expected from him coming out of Butler, then we're lying to ourselves.
Here's where he's different. He's not a jet setter, baby. He's not out in Hollywood. He's got a wife and kids and a family. He's a family man. He's different. He's different than Chandler Parsons. Also from the NBA, Jason Tatum, well-deserved, gets the full designated rookie max extension from the Celtics for $195 million over 5 years, as does Donovan Mitchell with the Jazz. Makes an awful lot of sense to re-up those guys, to give them the rookie max extension. All right, I know they're not rookies anymore, but that's how they term that. The Lakers have signed Marc Gasol to a 2-year deal where he started his career, and then in the trade that was panned when Powell, his brother, went to the Lakers and won some championships with the late, great Kobe Bryant. But people panned the deal, right? They made fun of the Grizzlies, and it turned out pretty darn good for Marc Gasol and the Grizzlies. He turned out to be a multiple all-star, and now as a veteran backup will help bring intelligence and leadership to that L.A. Lakers team. So instead of staying and finishing his career in Spain, he's back in the States.
It seems like the Lakers are putting together quite the team full of veterans. and looks like it's going to be a better team than last year,
more
or less.
And in the teams should not just leave it up to what they've done in the past category. The Los Angeles Lakers went out and got Montrezl Harrell, the sixth man of the year, who played with the Clippers last year. So instead of just staying put, they went out and they got a stud Montrezl Harrell. Now, they did lose Rajon Rondo. He goes to the Atlanta Hawks, who also got Danilo Gallinari. But the Lakers making moves, and then the Clippers, who were right there battling for the most part to try to get to the NBA Finals, came up a little short. They went out and got Serge Ibaka, who played with Marc Gasol in Toronto, gets a 2-year deal with the Clippers worth $19 million. Joe Harris is going to stay with the Nets, 4 years, $75 million. Now play for Steve Nash with Kevin Durant and with Kyrie Irving. So a lot of moves. I just scratched the surface of the moves that were made in the NBA with free agency and official trades and things of that nature. All right, hour number 2, we're going to kick things off with Barrett Sallee. We're going to talk college football and the whole Dabo controversy, Clemson-Florida State game that did not get played, and what Dabo had to say about why the game was postponed. Also, we'll get his thoughts on everything else that happened over the weekend in college football, the big rivalry games this weekend. Then we'll talk Tigers football, the American Conference, the SEC, and everything that happened this past Saturday. We got the NFL still to get to and 5 favorite songs. Boy, we are busy on this Monday. 1 hour in the books. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 98.5 FM.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
When you visit Navy Liquor at 7866 Highway 51 in Millington, you'll be treated like family by friendly, knowledgeable staff. Select are your favorite bourbon, vodka, scotch, beer, tequila, gin, and rum, as well as wines from all over the world. An amazing selection of sakis, too. Coldest beer in town. Beer kegs are available. Any beer, any wine, any liquor. You got the Navy Liquor hookup. Come see us, holiday or any other occasion. Navy Liquor, corner of Highway 51 and Navy Road in Millington.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Looking for a new ride to celebrate the end of 2020? We Gossett at Gossett Kia's holiday sales event. Command the season and you'll find what you want, need, and love at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. 2020 Kia Forte, $133 a month lease. 2021 Kia Soul, $148 a month lease. Plus 2021 Kia K5, $189 per month lease. All 36 months, $3149 due at signing. And don't miss 2020 Kia K900. We Gossett at $10,000 off MSRP. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
All 36-month leases, $3149 due at signing, 0 security deposit, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, LE 242,174, MSRP 20,505, sold, M7755, 682, MSRP 20,315, K5, MG 003,199, MSRP 25,725, K900, MSRP 65,610, L60 26,907, L60 21,220, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit offer valid through 11/30/2020, dealer stock only, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty, see Kia.com or retailer for details.
If ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh-made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on: Sunrise.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join us every Saturday morning on Sports 56 WHBQ from 8 to 10 a.m. and 96.1 FM and the new FM 98.5. We'll be covering the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, college football, college basketball, college baseball. We'll look into recruiting. We'll have guests from around the country with the latest news, the most knowledgeable people out there, the coaches, the players, the people who play the games. Don't forget to join us on the sidelines. Sports 56, 96.1, and the new FM 98.5.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Gabe Kuhn with you. Eli off today, returns tomorrow. It's the Monday, November 23rd, 2020 edition of the program. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. James Gaddis Jewelers is the second-hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays, and every Monday and Friday they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know? With his 12 points on Saturday, University of Memphis Tigers place kicker Riley Patterson becomes only the second Tiger to amass over 400 points for his career. Now at 408, Jake Elliott is the all-time leader in Tigers points with 445. So can Riley catch Jake? It is possible. 3 more games to go in the regular season. And then it would be great if it was also a championship game involved. We don't know. That's going to take an awful lot, but certainly a bowl game. So I guess it's not out of possibility that Riley Patterson, when it's all said and done, could be the Tigers' all-time leader in points. Once again, this Memphis Sports Fact brought to you by our second-hour sponsor, James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. The website, gaddisjewelers.com. Check them out there. Give them a call at 901-767-9648 and tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. So if you didn't hear over the weekend, the Navy game for Memphis this Saturday is a 6 o'clock game in Annapolis. They have just announced the start time, the kickoff time for the Tigers game a week from Saturday in New Orleans against Tulane. That will be an 11 Central kickoff and be televised on ESPN+. So we're back to the 11 a.m. kickoffs a week from Saturday, but this Saturday it's Navy at 6 o'clock. Right now it's time for Barrett Sallee.
It's time to talk some college football on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is Barrett Sallee from CBSSports.com, CBS Sports HQ, and Sirius XM Radio. Now, here's Barrett with Greg and Eli.
Boy, do we have a few things to talk about. Barrett Sallee joins us every Monday during the college football season. College football writer for CBS Sports. You can check him out on the tube at CBS Sports HQ. Listen to him on Sirius XM College Radio. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Barrett, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, guys. How are y'all?
We're doing good. Eli off today, so it's me and Gabe today, and we appreciate you joining us. It's been crazy. I know it was crazy for you last Monday. You had things you had to do for CBS Sports, and story after story breaking, and that's the same here. Over the weekend, we had football. We also had 18 games that were either canceled or postponed, as you know. But then we had a lot of controversy, and I want to begin with a little bit of that controversy with Dabo Swinney, who announced basically that he was so upset that Clemson and Florida State didn't play their football game after Clemson had traveled to Tallahassee that he said it was not because of COVID-19, and he stirred up the pot a little bit. I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and Mike Norvell's speaking right now, and I don't think he's addressed it yet as of this moment. But, yeah, from a content perspective, that's great. I think everyone wants to take a side, right? Like, everyone wants to immediately jump and say, "Oh, Dabo is crazy. He should say that," or Dabo's speaking up for what he feels is right. And really, the truth of the matter is we don't really know exactly, but we can infer a few things. One, I think it's fair to say that the ACC's testing protocols were followed by Clemson. You test, and then you leave, and then you test again. And, it sounds like they did that the right way. And when they landed in Tallahassee, things changed. And Florida State balked at it. But I think reading between the lines with how the ACC's statement goes, I kind of feel like the ACC is on Dabo's side here. Like, they followed the protocols, they did exactly what the rules are, and Florida State backed out. Now, there's always a gray area, and if you're Florida State, you probably have to look out after your players, and that's fine. And through all of this, I think it's fair to say a lot of rules have changed, not just within the college football world, but really everywhere. So Florida State probably tried to take that angle. That's what I get out of it. I don't know if that's accurate, but I think this idea that Dabo's just being a punk and that, or Florida State's just bailing because they didn't want to play, those two things are just not likely, because there's always three sides to every story. That there's one side, the other side, and then what actually happened. And I feel like that the reasonable explanation is that Florida State was upset. The protocols that were followed maybe didn't work the way that everyone thought they would.
Well, look, I agree with you 100%. There is some gray area. It's probably something in between. But the perception is that Dabo, this nice Christian guy, couldn't care less about COVID-19. Let's just play some football. And then Mike Norvell looks like, well, I got a Florida State team that is not good in my first year, and we really didn't want to play Clemson. That's the perception, unfortunately.
It is, and that's just crazy, because the idea that Dabo is basically saying COVID be damned, let's play, like, he's not going to do that. And the idea that Florida State is going to make the decision that its players can't compete at the highest level against the best team in the conference because they're scared. Like, that's not realistic either. Mm-hmm. Like that's not how football programs operate. So, I think in this day and age, everyone's got to have a hot take. Everyone's got to, immediately jump to have an opinion. And I know it doesn't make good radio, but I just don't like it's not that big of a deal to me. It's one of those things where, it's, you have these two sides sparring, and that's juicy, and we all get to talk about it. But I just feel like that, it's sort of like the whole COVID, should we play or should we not play? Mm-hmm. There's more nuance there, and nobody seems to want to talk about it.
Another story where they're jumping to conclusions is the BYU deal, where according to reports, BYU and was it Washington?
Yes.
Could have played this weekend, and BYU bailed because they want to know where they stand in the committee's college football playoff standings, which will come out tomorrow. What have you gathered from that?
Yeah, BYU sent a statement out today saying they wanted to do what's best for their program, and essentially what's gone on is that they have agreed to play, but BYU wants to wait until tomorrow to officially schedule it, and they wanted a more flexibility and more financial flexibility to find somewhere else to go if Washington has a Pac-12 game schedule, which they still can, based on what happens throughout the course of the week and other cancellations. So, I think the risk was still on BYU's side in terms of what happens if this thing gets canceled. They're sort of left high and dry. Me personally, now that we know sort of where each side's coming from, mm-hmm. I wouldn't really care if I'm BYU, because schedule intent's going to matter in the playoff discussion more this year, especially for BYU, than anybody else, because as an independent, they kind of got screwed with how they schedule and teams that are available to play. Right. So if they were to say right now, before the playoff committee meets, all right, yeah, let's play Washington this weekend, that, just agreeing to play, I think, matters. Like I said, more for BYU than other teams. And if they get hung out high and dry, okay, I think everybody would recognize that's not their fault, and they can still find a way to make up any financial loss by scheduling a home game, on December 5th with Cincinnati, although that's not going to happen. It doesn't sound like based on the way they're acting. So I don't know. I understand where BYU's coming from. I just think the explanation is a little short-sighted, and it sort of goes along with something that I've thought about BYU for a while, is that there's a great program. I love watching BYU play football. I think their administration has a false sense of where they stand in the landscape, because going independent it was a bad idea then, and as we're seeing right now, it's a bad idea now.
It's not Notre Dame. They're even though Notre Dame's playing in the ACC this year, they're not Notre Dame.
But how?
But that was the explanation they gave. If you remember, they wanted to be the Notre Dame of the West, and all of us were like, "Oh, come on."
But how much does a possible win over Washington, as far as BYU goes, how much does that actually help them in regards to possibly getting a spot at the table as far as the college football playoff?
Well, we don't know yet, but Washington, in terms of games played, we sort of don't have a gauge of really what they are. So you have to run that risk that, okay, maybe they're good, but I think the problem would be for BYU is that if you beat them, there's still not many games for Washington to prove that they're good to boost up BYU's strength of schedule. So,
right.
All of that is in play, but I just think you have to try. You have to. Again, schedule intent for a team like BYU is huge in this discussion, because there's just they really, really did get screwed with all these updated schedule matrices. So we don't. If Washington's just an average Pac-12 team, fine, go beat an average Pac-12 team. You can't do much else at this point.
By the way, the game and the reason why Washington's even in the conversation to possibly play BYU is because the Apple Cup is off, and it will not be made up because, again, that's where we are in the season with these games, especially with the Pac-12, that they're going to be canceled as opposed to postponed. So no Apple Cup this year between Washington and Washington State. Barrett Sallee joining us from CBS Sports. All right, so tomorrow will be the reveal of the first playoff committee standings. Give me who you think they'll have in their top 6 spots, and then give me who you would have if you had a vote in the top 6.
So I think they will go with Alabama 1, Notre Dame 2. Actually, no. Yeah, Notre Dame 2, Ohio State 3, Clemson 4, A&M 5, Florida 6. And honestly, that's where I would probably have it too. And then after that, BYU and Cincinnati, and then, on and on and on. So I think it's going to be pretty chalky. Notre Dame at 2, because they've got, the best win this year in college football. Clemson ahead of Florida and Texas A&M because they've got the best loss in college football this year. And then A&M ahead of Florida because of the head-to-head. So I think that's how it's going to work out. If I had to say that there would be a difference, it would maybe be Notre Dame 1, Alabama 2, because of the resume. Alabama's signature win over Texas A&M, which is still really, really good, but Notre Dame's being over Clemson. I guess if there's going to be a curveball, that would be it. And, man, that would be spicy. Yeah, that would be awesome for talk radio.
It would be, but that Bama 63-3 win over Kentucky will resonate from just a couple days before they meet. They're going to go win. And didn't Alabama just beat Kentucky by 60?
Yes, 60 points.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I don't know how much, and I'm sure you do watch the competition, but Heather, I was watching, I guess she's on ESPN, Heather Dinich, is that her name? And she really, she's very intelligent, and she really laid out a situation with Cincinnati being number 5, and she had all these numbers and the past history, and that the committee in the past likes a certain thing, and I can't regurgitate it because I can't remember everything she said, but it's basically the schedule that they have played, and they put that schedule to these other schools, and how would they do with that schedule? I mean, people are kind of poo-pooing that win at UCF. UCF does not lose at home too often over the years. So I don't know where Cincinnati's going to end up being, but she made a nice case for them.
Yeah, and Heather, I think, is obviously really good at breaking down what the committee, like the different systems that the committee actually looks at, because they're really, really elaborate. Now, a lot of us have gone through the mock selection process. I haven't, but she is so finely tuned in how that operates. So I understand that. Yeah, I understand that mindset. I really do, because a win over UCF is going to be viewed favorably, and that, again, sort of with schedule intent, you're kind of stuck if you're in the AAC with what you have. So that part of it will be in the mix as well. I just can't see how they would put them over an SEC team knowing that eye test is going to be part of this, and really I think is more a part of it this year than maybe it has been in years past. So I think from a metric standpoint, yeah, they can probably make that case through their systems that Cincinnati deserves to be over those teams. But I just think you can't measure and you can't predict eye test, especially in a situation like this where you have no other frame of reference. And I think ultimately that's going to be what rules the day and what puts Cincinnati out of the top six, at least for now.
Now we're used to that fourth and final team in the playoff being SEC, Big Ten, the likes of one of those conferences. But this year with the Notre Dame upset of Clemson, it's looking like the ACC could possibly get that fourth and final spot. Where do you stand on the likelihood that you get two ACC teams in the playoff this year?
Well, I think it's more likely than two SEC teams right now, just because the ACC dream scenario happened when Notre Dame beat Clemson. Because if Notre Dame runs the table and then beats Clemson or loses to Clemson, then you have two teams with really good wins and really good losses, and you have SEC teams that'll have the same, but the head-to-head between those two teams will look more desirable. So I think I'm more apt to say that. It's the ACC. It's also cleaner too, because A&M has that win over Florida, lost to Alabama, but might not make the SEC championship game, and Florida will. So there's that aspect of the SEC too, being a little bit messier than what the ACC might get. So I would say, yeah, it's more likely that the ACC gets two than the SEC. And if I had to bet right now, I would say either one or the other actually will happen, I think, this year. Just because there really is, the Pac-12, okay, maybe Oregon gets in, maybe USC, I guess, but USC has looked so bad in their wins. But the Pac-12, they're going to have an undefeated team. And maybe they do. Maybe they can. And maybe it's Oregon, and if that's the case, then Oregon's in.
Well, I think you're absolutely right that the Pac-12 representative has to be undefeated because they're going to play less games than the SEC or the ACC. If they all lose a game, they're done, like the Big 12 is done. But I don't know. I mean, one of them may run the table. I have not been impressed by either Oregon or USC. Then again, if they're undefeated, I think they absolutely will be in the playoff. I don't think they will deny a major conference undefeated champion.
Yeah, there's no way. Even if they don't deserve it, there's no way they do that. They've never left an undefeated Power 5 champion out of the playoff. And even though it's a quirky year and there's fewer, scarcity sort of rules the day in the Pac-12 and the Big Ten to some extent, there's just no way they can do that, especially considering, the schedule limitations and the fact that, it's the Pac-12 made the decision to go conference only, but it was still forced into it. Same with pretty much everybody. You were forced into to sort of a pseudo conference bubble in terms of scheduling. So you can't hold that against the Pac-12, especially considering those teams themselves. The presidents and the ADs had a little bit of input, obviously, into how the scheduling works out, but the teams themselves didn't. So can you punish Oregon for the Pac-12's decision to only play 7 games?
That's a good point.
You can't do that.
That's a really good point, Barry.
I mean, comparatively, though, when you talk about the Pac-12 versus some of these Group of 5 teams, I don't know how you could necessarily make the case that Cincinnati would not have a better schedule than some of these teams in the pack. When you look at USC and you look at Oregon, because Oregon and USC are going to go through their whole schedule, and obviously only 6 games, without playing a ranked opponent.
Yeah, now that should be a debate. Now, if it came down to an undefeated Pac-12 and then an undefeated Cincinnati or even the independent BYU, that's an interesting discussion. But as Barrett said, and Jerry Palms reiterated every week, that there's never been a Power 5 conference that's had an undefeated champion that hasn't gotten into the playoffs. So that would
and Gabe, I would make a counter argument in that if there's an undefeated Pac-12 champion, that undefeated Pac-12 champion will have beaten a pretty good team, depending on which team it is, in the Pac-12 championship game. And recency bias would certainly play a part in that as well.
That's absolutely fair.
That's why I would love to see Cincinnati and BYU play, but we had Mike Oresco on Friday, and while he's not a decision maker, he didn't say he poo-pooed the idea, but he didn't seem to be real thrilled about it. All right, one final thing before we let you go, Barrett. The Big Ten shaped up a little bit more for us to see that Ohio State is a little bit better than Indiana, but at least better on that day and still undefeated in the East. In the West, though, oh my gosh, I lost 3 parlays betting Wisconsin. I did not expect Mertz to throw the ball all over the field and find the opposing jerseys most of the time. That one shocked me. So is Northwestern a real threat to Ohio State if it comes down to those two in the championship game?
Yeah, I invested in Wisconsin too, and that did not work out very well at all. Northwestern's not a threat to Ohio State, but Northwestern's going to be in the playoff hunt. That's a team. The schedule works out to a point where they're probably going to go into the Big Ten championship game undefeated, and so 60 good minutes gets them in. Now, 60 good minutes against Ohio State is not going to happen, but because they're not really a threat. But crazier things have happened, I guess.
This year they have.
Yeah. So to me, Northwestern's going to be like what Minnesota was last year, what Wisconsin's been, what was Wisconsin 3 years ago? Yeah, it was 2017 when Alabama won it. But if Wisconsin had won the Big Ten championship game and they were winning in the second half, they would have gotten in over Alabama, despite the fact that Alabama eventually went on to win the national championship. So, that's probably what Northwestern's going to be, a team that gets there and it's for all the marbles, and then they get smoked by Ohio State.
Gabe,
I would say they have that look of the Pat Fitzgerald Big Ten championship team. I follow the Big Ten.
I know.
It just seems whenever they beat Iowa early in the season, and then they end the year here with 3 games that are they're going to be heavy favorites in. It just seems like that. But why are we not Northwestern? They're the Fighting Reese Davises. Y'all saw that, right?
That's right.
They use that as their momentum.
Yeah,
my gosh,
Fighting Reese Davises.
Get out of here.
It's funny because all these coaches and all these players, I don't pay attention to the outside stuff. Every single one of them does.
Absolutely.
Every one of them does.
Can we all admit we love Tom Allen?
Oh, Tom Allen's great.
Tom
Allen's awesome.
He fired me up with the video in the post game after the loss to Ohio State. I absolutely loved it. I adore that guy. And Indiana, look, they gave him a battle. They came back. They were getting drubbed. They came back. They made it very interesting. And this week will be interesting with the rivalry games. We got the Iron Bowl. We got the Egg Bowl. We got other classic rivalries. And tomorrow, as we talked about earlier, the selection committee will announce their first week of rankings. So that'll be interesting as well. Make sure to follow Barrett for all things college football over at CBS Sports. Check him out on CBS Sports HQ and listen to him on Sirius XM College Radio. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Barrett Salee, and also catch him every Monday right here during the college football season on Sports 56 Middays. Thank you, Barrett.
Appreciate
Happy
it,
Thanksgiving to you and your family.
All right, thanks, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. Say no to cranberry sauce.
Yeah, I'm with you. Take care. Barrett Salee. I don't like cranberry sauce.
Say no to cranberry sauce.
Yes.
Huh? I'm not into it.
So you agree?
Are you? Well, I mean, are you talking about the can stuff that holds the shape of the can?
That
it's kind of gross.
blobby-looking Jell-O
People
stuff.
love it. I don't know what the deal is.
It's the whole.
Are you a cranberry guy? Do you drink cranberry juice?
Yes, I do drink cranberry juice, but it's the texture. I don't like the texture of like pudding and the texture of Jell-O. And that's just a Jell-O type thing. All right. Town Village Audubon Park is one of our terrific sponsors, 950 Cherry Road, just off Park Avenue. It's senior living in today's world, offering more options to fit your needs more than ever before, dedicated to the long-term satisfaction and the quality of life for their residents. When we get back to some sort of normalcy, I'm sure we'll be over there for some remotes. We've always enjoyed going over there and talking to the residents at Town Village Audubon Park. All they ask is that you're 55 or over. Give them a call if you want to talk to them about what they have to offer, 901-537-0002, or online at townvillageaudubonpark.com. Independent living, they offer short-term and respite stay, monthly options available, great event schedule with activities galore, amazing food, everything you need to continue to enjoy life to its fullest. Again, maybe something down the road for you or something for a loved one. Town Village Audubon Park, located in the heart of East Memphis at 950 Cherry Road, again, just off Park Avenue. Call them at 901-537-0002 or online at townvillageaudubonpark.com. The Tigers won on Saturday. It wasn't pretty. It was basically 2 games in one, the first 45 minutes and then the final 15 minutes. We will discuss that and all things American and the SEC weekend as well as we continue talking college football. If you have a thought or two, please text in on the First Bank text line at 67129, and the First Bank phone lines are open as well at 360-8255. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Kevin Harlan and Tony Baselli here from Westwood One with a preview of Monday Night Football, sponsored by Prilosec. Treat your frequent heartburn with Prilosec OTC. Coming up, it's NFC action from Tampa when Tom Brady and the Buccaneers take on the Los Angeles Rams. Tony, 2 good teams should make for a good game.
Both teams are in the playoff hunt, fighting for their division titles. And this time of year, these really become must-wins as you fight for those playoff spots. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a big offensive performance led by Tom Brady. But they're going to have their hands full against the Los Angeles Rams. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, 2 of the best defenders in the NFL, and they're coming off a dominating performance against the Seattle Seahawks.
Looking forward to it, Tony. Join us for the Rams at the Bucs on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
Napa know-how.
At Napa, you can get 20% off 3 or more items with the $4.99 Napa Tool Bag. Yep, 20% off power tools, 20% off wipers, 20% off oil, and more. It's a whole bag of tricks. Well, actually, it's one trick over and over again, but it's a good one, saving you 20% on 3 or more items. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations, exclusions apply. May not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 11/30/20.
There's no place like home for the holidays, or HomeDepot.com for holiday decor, with great low prices on decorations inside and out, like artificial Christmas trees to light up the living room, outside lights and playful inflatables that bring joy to the neighborhood. Order online and you'll even get free delivery. Holiday decorating improved with a wide assortment of holiday decor from HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done. Free standard shipping on most online orders over $45. Some exclusions apply while supplies last.
Hey everybody, it's the best time of the year to come out here to Olive Branch and get that new All-Star Chevy Silverado or Tahoe or one of these perfect new Suburbans. This is the deal. We asked All-Star Chevy to get what everybody wants for the holidays, and guess what? They went out and got them, and the deals are spot on. Seriously, these will go fast, so come out this week if you can. All-Star Chevy has more new Silverados 2020 and 2021. Lots of the new third-row seating Traverses. And you could still get thousands in cash back. If you want pre-owned, Olive Branch is the place to be. Look, All-Star Chevy's certified pre-owned Chevrolets, they have the best selection I've seen anywhere. And remember, it's not Mount Moriah or South Haven, not Collierville or the Pike. It's gotta be Olive Branch, people. And everyone at All-Star Chevy has one job, just one job, to make sure you have more fun, you get the best deal on what you want, and in record time. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road in Olive Branch or online at allstarautogroup.com.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdingers. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdingers, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdingers offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Water damage to your home or business can be an absolute nightmare. And the faster you remove the standing water, the faster you can prevent secondary damage. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services specializes in water extraction. They have been a trusted name in the Mid-South for over 20 years. They are a Memphis-based company ready to serve your needs with their 24-hour emergency response. They are always on call and will respond within an hour. They work with most insurance companies and are the official restoration contractor of the Memphis Tigers home team. Landmark Construction and Emergency Services can't prevent disasters in your home and at your business, but their water damage team will certainly respond quickly to minimize and restore the damage. Call 901-452-0390. That's 901-452-0390 or online at landmarkco.org.
The holidays are alive and well with farm fresh Christmas trees now at the Home Depot and online at homedepot.com. Choose from a variety of trees specially selected for your region. Pick one out from our tree lot or get free delivery when you order online. Either way, you can't pick a better way to let the holidays begin. Holiday decorating improved. Farm fresh Christmas trees to pick up or delivered free from homedepot.com. How doers get more done. Selection and price vary by store. See store for details.
Looking for a new ride to celebrate the end of 2020? We Gossett at Gossett Kia's holiday sales event. Command the season and you'll find what you want, need, and love at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. 2020 Kia Forte $133 a month lease. 2021 Kia Soul $148 a month lease. Plus 2021 Kia K5 $189 per month lease. All 36 months, $3149 due at signing. And don't miss 2020 Kia K900 We Gossett at $10,000 off MSRP. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike or shop 24/7 KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
All 36-month leases, $3149 due at signing, 0 security deposit, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, LE 242,174, MSRP 20,505, sold, M7755, 682, MSRP 20,315, K5, MG 003,199, MSRP 25,725, K900, MSRP 65,610, L60 26,907, L60 21,220, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit offer valid through 11/30/2020, dealer stock only, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty, see Kia.com or retailer for details.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Busy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Halfway home on this Monday, November 23rd, 2020, the start of Thanksgiving week. Greg Gaston and Gabe Kuhn. Eli off today, but will return tomorrow to the program. We have our 5 favorite songs coming up at 12:05. So if you haven't sent in your lists, you can go ahead and do so via the First Bank text line at 67129. Again, today's topic is the word doctor or doc. Needs to be in the title of your song. Also, if you're watching us live, you can message us with your lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. We'll get to the NFL coming up at 12:25 or thereabouts. Don't forget, we'll have the Monday Night Football game for you tonight. Should be a good one between the Rams and the Buccaneers. One other college basketball note. We've had a ton of those. If you missed hour number 1, so much news. News involving Ole Miss and Memphis. Now Duke. Duke's opener against Gardner-Webb on Wednesday has been canceled due to a positive COVID-19 test in Gardner-Webb's program. That's according to a Duke release of the information. They were originally in the crossover event that Memphis is going to be involved in later this week, and they pulled out of that one, and now their first game is postponed. We mentioned earlier that the Justin Reed Classic is off at Ole Miss. Also, their game against Memphis is off. That was scheduled for December 5th. As the Rebels have shut down basketball operations until December 7th. We've had teams that have pulled out of the Mohegan Sun events, and that's multiple events, including Arizona State and the University of Florida. Scott Drew at Baylor has COVID-19, so the team's there at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, but he's not there. My gosh, crazy stuff. All right, let's get into the Tigers and Saturday's win over Stephen F. Austin. Again, the Tigers this Saturday will head to Annapolis to play Navy at 6 o'clock, and they announced that the Tulane game the following Saturday will be an 11 a.m. kickoff like it was for Stephen F. Austin this past Saturday at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium, where it was a very strange senior day, Gabe. You have one more home game still to play, and then you also have the possibility of some of these guys coming back. Now, just because the NCAA says that you don't lose a year of eligibility, it doesn't mean that the school and whatever the program is around the country will have all their players back. They're only going to bring back a couple of the players that they feel can help them because they also have scholarship offers out there that have been accepted and will be officially signed in December in the early signing period or in the later signing period in February. But it had to be strange for some of those guys walking out there on the field on Saturday.
No parents, no family members.
That's another good point.
It stinks. You wish those guys would have gotten a proper sort of send-off. Obviously, I don't think every single one of them is going to be sent off. I think some will come back, which, again, I've said from the beginning, is going to complicate the scholarship situation so mightily, and I don't
across the board.
Yeah, and I honestly think it's been underplayed to this point. Like, I don't think people are talking about it enough, but I think the schools are going to have to deal with it as they come to it. And I don't know how it works if a guy wants to come back and the guy in the university says we're not paying for the scholarship. I don't know how that's going to work and everything like that, but it definitely I feel bad for those guys as far as their senior day goes.
Well, it'll be interesting. A guy like T.J. Carter, who did return and played in the game against Stephen F. Austin, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the defense of secondary played better. Now, Stephen F. Austin is an FCS team, but they're a good one. They had won 6 in a row, 6-0 against FCS opponents, but they were 0-3 against FBS opponents. Still, to have Carter back is fantastic. Now, he has battled injuries the last few years. What will his stock be? That's going to be the key. If his NFL stock is good, then he's gone. If it's not, there's that possibility that he could come back. By the way, Ryan Silverfield meeting the media as we speak, talking about a couple of guys who were banged up on Saturday. One of them, Javon Ivory, wide receiver, he was clocked, and I mean, he was absolutely dazed, and I would imagine in concussion protocol. And Drake Clark went out late in the game. In fact, I'm doing the sidelines for the radio broadcast, and he walked right by me, and I didn't see any injury to Drake, but he ended up not playing the rest of the game, and other running backs really stepped up in that contest. But he says Ivory and Drake are both day-to-day. They're going through treatment. Could be a game-time decision for their availability Saturday against Navy. But the game itself, Tigers get out to a good start. They're 14-0 lead, and they have struggled out of the gate for most of the time this season. So they're up 14-0, and then Brady, for the second straight game, because they played USF and then didn't play against Navy, both home games threw a pick six. I mean, just threw it right to the guy. The guy was reading Brady White's eyes the whole time. That made it 14-7, and that changed the momentum in that game. And for a while there, he thought Stephen F. Austin, I never thought for a second that the Tigers were going to lose that game. But Stephen F. Austin, a capable team, they're hanging in there. And it went that way pretty much for the first 40 minutes of the game. So you get to late in the third quarter, and it's still a one-possession game. And then the Tigers turned it on. And, I mean, they turned it on with their offense, with their defense, and with their special teams because they had a Pete Lembo special, a punt return by Calvin Austin for a touchdown, 64 yards. And Calvin Austin was absolutely tremendous as he's been all season long. 10 catches, 173 yards, 8 punt returns for 117 yards, including that 64-yard return for a touchdown. So that's what, it's 290 total yards for him. 173, 117. What does Captain Math add that up to? That's 290, right? That's a pretty darn good day at the office. Now, I haven't seen any of the awards given out yet by the American. Their weekly awards are usually given out on Monday, but Calvin Austin's got to be way up there for possible Offensive Player of the Week. He has been tremendous, and also with the 100-yard receiving game, 173 to be exact, that's 5 straight games. That breaks Anthony Miller's school record of consecutive games going over 100 yards of receiving.
He has, and I was there for the. He was there for the tail end of my career there, so I got to see him sort of grow up. And what he's been able to do and add to his arsenal, it's been incredible. I mean, he's a guy who's getting 13 targets a game. He's a guy who's running every route in the route tree, and he's getting open and actually, taking advantage of the targets, which is the most important thing.
He's a track star, for goodness sakes, who did not have a scholarship until this year. And Memphis continues to find those guys, those gems, those diamonds in the rough. A lot of them are local. Anthony Miller, Christian Brothers, Calvin Austin, Harding.
Heck, Kylan Watkins was a guy who wasn't on scholarship when he got there. And same with Marquavius Weaver, who were their two leading rushers this past Saturday.
Yeah, 305 net yards rushing, by the way, in that game.
It's one of those things where I knew going into the game there was going to be a effort, a very serious effort to get that run game going and build some confidence in that O-line room and that running back room, because it had been tough sledding against USF and Cincinnati.
And for a while there, Gabe, I thought the offensive line was struggling in this game, but then they started to wear down Stephen F. Austin. And once they wore down Stephen F. Austin, it was over, and it was good to see Kylan Watkins, 100 yards on just 11 totes.
They had 3 rushing TDs going into the game. They had 5 in the game, so they surpassed their season total in rushing TDs in this game.
As I said on the pregame show on the radio network, that this was a game the doctor ordered. They needed one. This is pregame, and then for a while there, I'm like, ugh. But I knew it would work out, and they were able to get a lot accomplished. You mentioned Marquavius Weaver, 8 carries for 94 yards, so between the two of them, nearly 200 yards. We'll see what happens with Dree Clark for the game against Navy. Navy has struggled this year. They really have, especially offensively. Memphis doesn't usually fare well in Annapolis, but I would think if the Tigers play their game, this is one that they should win. Navy is in disarray pretty much. They've had a number of games canceled, but it's still Navy. They're going to leave their hearts out on the field. It will be a challenge for the Tigers. And, again, the Tigers have to win the rest of their games, Navy, Tulane, Houston, and get a lot of help if they are to get back to the championship game. But the Tigers, again, it was a while. It took some time, but they took care of business. They outscore Stephen F. Austin 36-0 in the second half and win it by the score of 56-14. And let's mention Brady White. Mentioned him earlier with the pick 6, but he also threw a touchdown pass, his 82nd career touchdown pass, which now puts him number 1 on the all-time touchdown passing list as he goes ahead of Danny Wimprine. Breaks the tie with Danny Wimprine. He has been fantastic. Wins ball games. Makes some of those uncharacteristic mistakes at times. The one this weekend was very, very ugly. Not good. The pick 6. They're going. He cannot make those mistakes against Navy. As bad as their offense has struggled, as bad as their team has struggled as a whole, if you give that team the ball when you're supposed to have it and let them keep control of the possession time, you're going to struggle. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but when he makes a mistake, it's usually costly. And I don't know. I can't put my finger on why that happens, but that's 2 straight games with a pick 6. But the Tigers take care of business. They get their 5th win, now 5-2 as they get set for Navy this Saturday. By the way, with the schedule and no show on Thursday, we're efforting to get Ryan Silverfield on Wednesday as we preview the Tigers and the Naval Academy. Also for the American Conference, Cincinnati and UCF. I figured this to be a good game. And Cincinnati wins it 36-33 at the Bounce House to go to 8-0, 6-0 in the conference. UCF drops to 5-3 and 4-3 in the conference. And UCF could have won all those games. UCF could be 7-0 in the conference, and it's just not to be. They've lost a couple of close ones, including a game to Memphis where they had the lead. But I had given you the pick of Cincinnati -5. I apologize for that, but Cincinnati had the ball late and could have scored, and they decided not. That seems to be like a thing that's really big this season. Players not going in for the touchdown. Right? It just didn't seem like that was a deal like last year and years prior, where even with a lead and you don't want the other team to get the ball back, but you would score. And now they don't score. So that cost a lot of bettors in that game, as Cincinnati would have easily covered the spread. They ended up not doing that. But Cincinnati seems to be solidified there as your best team in the American, if there was ever a question before. They still will play Tulsa. Is that coming up? That's not this week, I don't believe. They got a game with Tulsa.
It's their last game of the year. That will be on the 12th of December.
Yeah, so they got a game with Tulsa still for the regular season. But Tulsa, with that crazy game against SMU.
Tulane.
Sorry, Tulane. They had a crazy game against SMU where they came back and won, and then they had the crazy
I think every game they
Tulane.
played is crazy at this point.
Well, really. I mean, they're hanging in there, And they are still undefeated in the conference.
I mean, after last year and all those missed field goals, they were due for a switch of fortune.
Yeah,
There's
but
no
the
question,
fortune shouldn't be this.
I agree. I agree.
But here's the thing. They still have to play. They still have to play Cincinnati. They still have to play Houston. And if they make up the game against Navy. Was that one of the games that they did already put on the schedule? When we had Mike Oresco on Friday? So there's a possibility there that they could. The way they're going, they're probably not going to lose any of those games. But there's certainly the Cincinnati game you would think is a loss. And then one more loss.
So that Navy game is still going to be played.
Okay, so one more loss if you assume they're going to lose to Cincinnati. That would be 2 losses. If Memphis wins the rest of their games, they only have 2 conference losses. I don't know what the tie break is. I think it's the highest ranking in the college football playoffs. But I didn't even know did the college football playoffs go past 25? Like, they only announced 25.
No, it doesn't go past 25.
Yeah, so I don't think either one of those teams would be in that. So I don't know where you would go for the tie break after that. But again, Memphis needs to take care of their business, and they need an awful lot of help. Well, I tried to give you help with Cincinnati. I failed you this past week. We nailed it the other week. That's why they call it gambling, but it is fun. It is fun to be able to make some plays legally in the state of Tennessee, and that's what FanDuel is all about. FanDuel Sportsbook is legal, and you can place your first bet on FanDuel Sportsbook risk-free, get up to $1,000 back if you don't win. No strings attached. Just place any bet you want. If you win, you keep the cash. If you lose, you'll get your entire bet up to $1,000 back in bonus site credit, so you can take another shot at the end zone on the house. And with FanDuel Sportsbook, generous risk-free bets are just the beginning. They've got a simple app, live betting on every game, and exhilarating bet types such as same-game parlays where you combine multiple bets from one game into a single parlay. And once you win on FanDuel Sportsbook, they get you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Now, tomorrow I'm going to give you my thoughts on this week. I'm going to have a play for the Thanksgiving Day. The NFL, of course, there's 3 games. I'm going to give you one of those plays on Thursday, trying to help you out this week. With FanDuel Sportsbook, it's easy to use, easy to deposit your money, easy to find your bet, fast withdrawals, and they have these odds boosts and specials. And if you didn't take advantage of that last one with Tennessee and Auburn, you missed out on $50. It is really, really fun, these odd boosts and specials that they
What'd
supply.
that get to? Plus 115 and a half,
Yeah,
I believe?
it was over 100 points.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it was over 100 points.
Free money.
And they do this every once in a while, so you got to look for these boost specials. To claim your risk-free bet, just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Be sure to sign up with promo code GASMAN so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code GASMAN. Must be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789.
So when we come back, we'll get to the text line. And Mike Norvell had something to say about Dabo's comments about the game being postponed between FSU and Clemson.
I figured he would. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis Tiger fans, catch the Blue and Gray Show with John Stacy and Drew Barrett, Sunday nights from 5 till 7, right here on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All 75 months at 2.99 Mirage, LHO 10130, MSRP 16565, G4, LHF 12318, MSRP 17435, Outlander LZO 38819, MSRP 381, Outlander PEV qualifies for a 5,836 federal tax credit. Consult your tax advisor. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax filing license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2020. Dealer stock only.
The 2020 year-end sales event is on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage. Buy for $11,100 or $99 a month. 43 MPG Highway. A Mirage you can't miss with 2020 G4, 41 MPG Highway, $139 a month, or buy for $12,435. Plus, crossover with 4x4 off-road capabilities with 74 MPG. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid EV, $27,838 or $359 per month. And 10 years of confidence with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So Tigers wide receiver Calvin Austin, who had 290 all-purpose yards, was named to the American Honor Roll, but was not named the Player of the Week. And I guess it's a split because he did it both offensively and with special teams, but still not good enough for any Player of the Week status. Instead, the Offensive Player of the Week went to Desmond Ridder of Cincinnati, and I could see that with the big win for the Bearcats at UCF. All right, you mentioned Mike Norvell, former Tigers head coach, now at Florida State, had some things to say about Dabo Swinney, the Clemson-Florida State game that was never played on Saturday.
Yes, he sure did. It's an interesting clapback. What he had to say was football coaches are not doctors. Some of us might think we are, but there's a reason why those advisors are able to make those decisions from the information that is provided. So very obvious, very clear message there, saying that what Dabo's saying really doesn't have that much merit.
Right. And he took the high road. He didn't get real nasty or anything, and I guess some coaches would. They'd take exception to what Dabo said, because Dabo made it sound like that they were just bailing out because they were afraid. They didn't want to play Clemson. And as Barrett Sallee told us on the show, or at least in his opinion, that was not the case. A couple of other things I want to get to the SEC here in just a moment. We don't have a lot of time in this segment. But now Rick Barnes, according to reports, has tested positive for COVID-19, and the Vols have paused activities with their basketball team. The season opener is unsettled. My gosh. So you got that going on in Knoxville, you got that going on in Oxford, and the Tigers leave to go to South Dakota, where it's the hottest spot for COVID-19 in the country. All right, so on Saturday in the SEC, the only teams that did not play, Ole Miss and Texas A&M, that game was postponed because of COVID. But games involving some of the regional teams, LSU beat Arkansas 27-24 in Fayetteville. I figured that game to be close like that. The line was 2.5. LSU won. I don't think there's much to that game. It could have went either way. You had Tennessee losing to Auburn 30-17. For a while there, Tennessee played fairly well. They had a 10-0 lead, and Jarrett Garantano, who wasn't the only one to blame, pick six. Continues, those type of mistakes continue to rear its ugly head in this guy's career. Now, one of the bright spots, go ahead.
As I say, I think the worst part about Jarrett Guarantano and what he does with the turnovers is Eric Gray is
I was
so
just going to bring that up.
good. I mean, 173 yards, gets them down into the red zone nearly every time, and then the mistakes just seem to happen.
Well, I've said it from the get-go about Eric Gray. I didn't understand at first while he was the backup at Tennessee. He's the stud. He's an absolute stud. As you mentioned, 173 yards rushing and a touchdown. He also caught 3 passes for 49 yards. Give him the ball as much as you can. But once in a while, you have to throw the ball. And Garantano's unfortunate pick six, a big difference maker in that game with Auburn winning 30-17. And then there's Mississippi State. And I know you don't get anything for losing a football game and moral victories, who cares? But Mississippi State played Georgia tooth and nail. They played them pretty close and ended up losing that game 31-24. Will Rogers, it's so amazing with that offense that KJ Costello is setting the all-time record for passing yardage in a single game in SEC history, his first game. And after that, did nothing, then was benched. Will Rogers, 41-52 for 336 and a touchdown. So you see some little bits and pieces of what Mike Leach's offense will look like at Mississippi State when he has all his players in. But the story in that game and why Georgia won the game was JT Daniels. We wondered about that game. 28-38, 401 yards, 4 touchdowns in his first start at Georgia.
And thank God he did that for Georgia fans, because that run game was absolutely abysmal. And the thing is, people were surprised that Mississippi State was staying in that game. When you go look at their schedule, and I understand it's Georgia, when you go look at their schedule, besides the Bama game, which most people get blown out by Bama, they have played every game relatively close, and that defense has been pretty good.
Florida beat Vanderbilt 38-17. Bama, as we mentioned earlier, with Barrett, 63-3 over Kentucky. My gosh. And Mizzou beat South Carolina. You wondered about that game with Will Muschamp being let go with the players. How would they relate to the interim head coach? Would they rally around him? Wasn't the case. I think Eli Drinkwitz is going to do a really nice job at Missouri. And they've been pretty solid this year. 17-10 win for Mizzou. Of course, this week we have some rivalry games, including the Iron Bowl, which will be Saturday, as Auburn will travel to Bama. Auburn, a 24.5-point underdog. I can't imagine that line's been much higher in the history of that rivalry game. And that's over 3 touchdowns. Tennessee will play at Vandy. Tennessee's -10 at Vandy. I mean, not a rivalry compared to Alabama and Florida on their schedule, but Tennessee, all of a sudden Vandy's playing better. You better win that game if you're Tennessee. And then the Egg Bowl. Mississippi State gets 10.5 at Ole Miss. That should be a lot of fun. Memphis, by the way, if you care about these things, and apparently we now do here in the state of Tennessee, Memphis is -11 at Navy. 11-point favorite. I think that's a little high, but I do feel like this is the year that Memphis comes in as a much better team on paper than Navy. Navy's had all types of problems. When we come back, hour 3 of the program, we will start things off with 5 favorite songs. Please text your lists in at 67129. If you're watching us live, you can message us with the lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Today we're talking Doctor. Doctor needs to be in the title of your song. And then at 12:30, we get into the National Football League. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 98.5 FM.
Brian Smith, we love the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis.
Thanks, Stats. The fall months are always the best time to shop for both new and pre-owned cars. We're right in the middle of model year end change. The 2020s have got to go to make room for the new 2021 models, and we continue to trade for the best pre-owned cars in the city, all makes and models.
Service is one of y'all's hallmarks.
Our award-winning service department is adhering to all socially distanced safety precautions.
You can experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com.
In today's world, a lot is going on, but one thing is always true. You need to take care of yourself. The skin clinics can help. Age, diet, genetics, and current events can conspire to make you look and feel much older than you are. It doesn't have to be that way. Call the skin clinics and let their expertly trained nurses, estheticians, and staff choose the treatment that best suits you and your pocket. There's so much you can do. Consider skin resurfacing and rejuvenation, lash extensions and specialty brows, injectables, medical grade chemical peels, laser hair reduction, waxing, facials, makeup applications, and even services just for men. The Skin Clinics has it all in a caring, safe environment, always observing current social distancing guidelines. Go to theskinclinic.com to find out more and call today for your appointment at 901-345-SKIN. That's 901-345-SKIN. Taking care of yourself is good for you and your loved ones. Come to the Skin Clinics, 1300 Wolf Park Drive in Germantown.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Ben Swinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Ben Swinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. 2 Memphis locations, one in Midtown, on Hollywood Street across from the Liberty Bowl, and one in Cordova, off Germantown Parkway next to the Fox and Hound. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Ben Swinger Glass.
Looking for some action? Sports gambling is legal in Tennessee. Action247.com. Local, legal. A sportsbook by Tennesseans, for Tennesseans. Go to Action247.com. Register and place your bets. Are you a sharp or a first-time bettor? Action 24/7 has you covered. Visit us online at Action247.com. Local, legal. Action 24/7. You got action.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Geico presents Left Brain versus Right Brain.
You know, we should switch to Geico.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, buddy.
We could save hundreds of dollars a year on car insurance.
Ooh, with that kind of scratch, we can get the band back together for a reunion tour.
A, we were never in a band. B, Glenn let us play the tambourine on stage one time. And C, we will, however, put that savings towards a new interview suit.
Look what I found. Huh? Still got it.
Oh, no.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 12:05 is the time. Third and final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston and Gabe Kuhn. Eli off, but he will return tomorrow. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Their holidays and home sale is going on right now with spas and pool tables, game tables, arcades, massage chairs, pools as well. My gosh, they have so much to offer. When you head on over there and you check out everything that they have, make sure you ask for an official Sports 56 mask while supplies last. The third hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by East Memphis Ace Hardware at 5143 Quince Road. That's right next door to Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes. You can call them at 901-683-8688. Any questions you have, they will be kind enough to answer them for you. AceHardware.com is the website. They're open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, Sunday, 10 to 4. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. So Tennessee was scheduled to host a multiple-team event this week with Charlotte and Virginia Commonwealth. That is now off. So Ole Miss has put basketball activities on the shelf, and now Tennessee has put basketball activities on the shelf.
Make sure you refresh your Twitter feed so we can make sure we're perfectly up to date with all the cancellations.
Yeah, we need to,
before we move on to 5 favorite songs.
We need to hire somebody just for this, just to keep us up to date with what's being done, what games are being played, what games are postponed, what games are canceled. I mentioned earlier with Barrett Sallee that in college football, you got rivalry week, got some big rivalry games. Already 3 games have been either postponed or canceled for this week. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot compared to 18 last week, but it's Monday, for goodness sakes. Here's the problem. Only one is postponed, and that will be Miami at Wake Forest in the ACC. They have postponed that game to December 5th. The other 2 games have been canceled, one being the Apple Cup between Washington and Washington State, and the other one, Fresno State. Fresno State has had 2 straight games canceled. Last week it was San Jose State, this past weekend. And then this week it's South Dakota State. Excuse me, San Diego State. So those games will not be made up. And that's the problem. We're getting so late in the ball game that a lot of these games will not be made up. We got the NFL coming up at 12:25. We'll discuss what's happened so far in week number 11. But right now, it's time for our 5 favorite songs.
5 favorite songs.
Still time to get your lists in. First Bank text line 67129. The word today is doctor. Doctor needs to be in the title of your song. If you're watching us live, hello to you. You can message us at Sports56 WHBQ with the lists on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. So Gabe has not only his list, he also has Eli's list. And I will have my list, and then we'll get to all your lists as well. So, Gabe, why don't you start things off with
the absent list?
Yeah, let's go. Eli, yourself, myself, and then we'll go to the listeners.
Okay. Before we get into it, what
you got another cancellation?
No, I was going to say, what did you think of the doctor?
Okay.
I struggled.
Did you really?
Tough.
I
very tough.
I think there was enough quality. I don't think there was a lot of quantity. Like, I easily had 5. I probably could have went 7, 8, 9. But there wasn't 25, 30 songs that I could have picked from.
I like the songs I put on my list, but I don't know if this is quality or quantity. I think this is one of the worst we've had, or not worst, toughest. I don't say worst.
Okay.
Worst is not the right word, but toughest, no question.
Okay.
So let's start with Eli's. He starts with number 5, Witch Doctor, by David Seville. 4, Bad Case of Lovin' You, Doctor Doctor by Robert Palmer. 3, Doctor My Eyes, Jackson Brown. 2, Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue. And here is Eli's number 1.
You need my love, baby, oh so bad. You're not the only one I've ever had. And if I say I want to set you free, don't you know you'll be in misery? They call me Dr. Love. They call me Dr. Love. I've got the cure you're thinking of.
Calling Dr. Love by Kiss.
Good song.
Good song. I feel like his top 2 should be on most lists. With this list being with this sort of category being pretty limited.
Yes, I would imagine a lot of lists out there are going to have some similar songs. Although our listeners are amazing, they're so eclectic with their lists that they'll come up with some other stuff.
They always remind me of something I forgot about every single time. Never
All
fails.
Right, your list.
My turn. Okay, let me switch here. 5, I agree with Eli's number 1, Calling Dr. Love by Kiss. 4, Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue. 3, Dr. My Eyes, Jackson Brown. 2, Somebody Get Me a Doctor by the late Van Halen. And then here is my number 1.
And I don't know if I was awake or asleep when I wrote this. All I know is you came to me when I was at my lowest. You picked me up, breathed new life in me. I owe my life to you. Before the life of me, I don't see why you don't see like I do. Break there's nothing else I can do, 'cause you've been gone for so long. I'm running out of time. I need a doctor. Call me a doctor. I need a doctor to bring me back to life.
I Need a Doctor by Dr. Dre, and I want you to take a guess. Who's rapping?
Right now, it's Eminem?
Yeah. Oh, Eminem, yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Dr. Dre, Eminem, I Need a Doctor.
Come on. You know I know rap.
Okay. Hey, man. Worth a question.
That's a good song. That's a
check
good
it out.
song. I could have said, and we're going to do Doctor and any song from Dr. Dre, but no, you came up with a
So
Dr. Dre
I put
song.
this at number 1, double word score.
There you go.
That's why.
All right, here's my list of Doctor songs. Number 5, and you've heard a few of these already rattled off. Number 5, Doctor My Eyes, Jackson Browne. Number 4, Calling Dr. Love, Kiss. Number 3, Doctor Doctor by the Thompson Twins, going back to my new wave era. Number 2, Dr. Feelgood, Motley Crue. And here's my number 1.
Just when I'd spent the last piastre I could borrow, all night long we would sing that stupid song, and every word we sang I knew was true. Are you with me, Dr. Wu? Are you really just a shadow of the man that I once knew? Are you crazy? Are you high? Or just an ordinary guy? Have you done all you can do? Are you with me, Doctor?
It is Dr. Wu by Steely Dan. One of my favorite Steely Dan songs of all time. Dr. Wu.
You still have never enlightened me on what they're named after. It's come up a couple times now.
I have no idea what the song's about either here, but I love it. All right, let's get to our listeners here. Again, if you haven't texted in yet, you still can. 67129.
Let's do it.
Your turn to decipher this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Eli's a master at deciphering this stuff.
Oh,
but
easy money here.
I still, by the way, I still don't understand like the whole deal why one text can't be on. I guess it's only a certain amount of characters, right?
Well, I mean, it just happens with
just breaks up in the
technology. Technology.
Come on, technology, catch up, baby.
So I have Zed here. Zed, I apologize. You got cut off, and there's nothing I can do about it. I apologize.
What do you mean he got cut off?
He got cut. Well, I have his honorable mention, Witch Doctor by David Seville with Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Uh-huh.
And then I have his 5, his 4, and his 1. I don't have his 3 and his 2. But his 5, I Don't Need No Doctor by Styx. 4, I Need a Doctor by Dr. Dre with Eminem, my number 1 song. The number 1, Dr. Feelgood and Aretha Franklin.
Dr. Feelgood, what?
That's what he put that.
Dr. Feelgood by Aretha Franklin.
No, you go check that one out. But I was not familiar with a Dr. Feelgood by Aretha Franklin.
I think that's Motley Crue. And again, if he wants to, if you want to go ahead and send in your list again, please do so. If you're listening right now, I hate when they break up these things. Not our listeners. It's not their fault.
Bobby from Midtown. Honorable mention. Somebody Get Me a Doctor by Van Halen. 5, Doctor Doctor by UFO. 4, The Doctor by the Doobie Brothers. Eli would lose his mind on that one. 3, I Don't Need No Doctor by Humble Pie. 2, Rock and Roll Doctor by Little Feat. And 1, Doctor Doctor by the Radiators. So 2 Doctor Doctors in Bobby's list.
Okay.
Danny chimes in. Doctor Doctor by the Thompson Twins. How many Doctor Doctor songs on there are there?
Quite a few.
Clearly. 4, I Don't Need No Doctor by Wasp. 3, Dr. Feelgood, Motley Crue. 2, Calling Dr. Love. And 1, Doctor Doctor by UFO. A lot of Dr. Doctors out there. Number 5, Calling Dr. Love. 4, The Doctor by the Doobie Brothers. 3, Doctor Doctor, Thompson Twins. 2, Doctor My Eyes, Jackson Browne. And 1, Bad Case of Loving You, Doctor Doctor by Robert Palmer. They said Palmer's music videos are easy on the eyes.
Wait, Aretha Franklin, yeah, they are with all.
Did write a song?
Aretha Franklin, Dr. Feelgood.
That's a
Love
thing.
is a Serious Business, song by Aretha Franklin.
How about it?
She's also got Doctor's Orders. Wow. Dr. Feelgood Live, Aretha Franklin. That's okay. I mean,
We might have to educate ourselves.
We
on
may
that
have
one.
to play that song, man.
Might have
the
to
late
educate
great Aretha
ourselves.
Franklin, the Queen of Soul.
But do you know anything about Robert Palmer's music videos?
Yes,
It
Gabe.
says that music videos are easy on the eyes.
Gabe, you're a youngin', but back in the 80s,
Hey,
there
I'm
was
just-
something. Wait, there was something.
That's
called,
why I'm asking.
There
Try
was
to-
something called MTV,
Oh,
and they
God.
had videos. They
You're
actually had
okay.
music videos, right, instead of game shows and all this other
Okay.
crap that they had.
Ridiculousness with Rob Dyrdek? That
Yes.
wasn't on there, you mean?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
So Robert Palmer was the king, one of the kings of the video, and his background group were beautiful women who all looked the same, who played instruments, but they really weren't playing. And he sung. He was the lead singer, and they were in the background.
So
And
they were dancing. But, yeah.
They were moving, swaying, looking
Oh.
great in short skirts, and the makeup was all the same. And it was.
See, this is why I ask. I need to get
You got to
educated
look
on
at
these
Robert
things.
Palmer's videos, man. They were fantastic. Yes. In fact, I read an article not that long ago about whatever happened to all the background singers for Robert Palmer, his little group. What happened to those ladies? And a lot of them going on to bigger and better things.
Well, thank you for the education, sir.
There you go.
Thank you.
You learn a little every day you listen to Middays.
Here we go. We have somebody chiming in. 1, Doctor My Eyes. 2, what? Doctor Hook, but not a song?
No, there's a group
Okay.
called Dr. Hook, but no,
Okay.
that doesn't count.
Okay.
Nor does Dr. Evil, if you want to throw
3,
Dr.
Dr. Love. 4, Doctor. Somebody else chimes in. Dr. Feelgood was one of Aretha Franklin's biggest hits, they say.
We got to listen to that because there's no way it's the same. Like,
No, it's
Yeah, I
not.
know. First of all, that would be before the Motley Crue Dr. Feelgood.
Unless Aretha was getting down and dirty with that song. 5, I Don't Need No Doctor, Humble Pie. 4, Dr. Robert, The Beatles.
Yes.
Doctor, number 3 by NXS. 2, Bad Case of Loving You, Dr. Robert Palmer. And number 1, Dr. My Eyes, Jackson Brown, with an honorable mention to There's a Doctor by The Who. Now we're on to Facebook. John chimes in, Dr. My Eyes, Jackson Brown. Dr. Brown by Fleetwood Mac. Dr. Doom by 13th Floor Elevators. You familiar with 13th Floor Elevators?
Dr. Doom, though. I like the name of the title of the song.
Lady Doctor by Graham Parker. And Rock and Roll Doctor by Little Feat. He says, we'll talk about that at the end, but have we done the word floor? Bobby chimes in. 5, Dr. Time, Rick Trevino. 4, Dr. Funkenstein by Parliament. 3, Dr. Feelgood, Motley Crue. 2, Dr. Rockster by Wasp. And 1, Dr. My Eyes, Jackson Brown.
We have not done floor. I'm looking up the list right now. Eli compiles the list, and he updated it, and we have not done floor, so we'll keep that in mind. We always appreciate the suggestions. Did you get to all these?
As of right this second, yes.
Did you get to Downtown Leo's?
Downtown Leo's is...
I see it on the text now.
Downtown Leo. Not coming up on mine.
Downtown Leo's list. Calling Dr. Love, number 5 by Kiss. Number 4, Somebody Get Me a Doctor, Van Halen. 3, Dr. Feelgood, Motley Crue. 2, Dr. by the Thompson Twins. Number 1, Dr. My Eyes by Jackson Brown. Carolyn, did you get hers? Why is your list not popping
Not popping up?
Carolyn, number 5, Love Doctor, Willie Clayton. Number 4, Rock and Roll Doctor, Black Sabbath. Number 3, Witch Doctor, David Seville with Alvin and the Chipmunks. Number 2, Bad Case of Loving You, Dr. I think that's hers, but it doesn't have a 1. Man, I wish somebody can have a system where all the texts are on one thing and not broken up the way they are. I'm telling you, Eli must have taken a class in college to be able to figure this stuff out. All right, let's see. Where is we got some regulars that normally send their lists in. I'm surprised they're not. Where's my friend Ray from Cordova's list? Where is Raider Corey? Raider Corey's probably upset about last night after the Chiefs came back on his Raiders. All right, just keep an eye on that. And if anyone else sends their list in now, we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Can you look up that Aretha Franklin song?
Got it ready for you.
You got it ready? Okay, let's go ahead and play a little of that. So this is Aretha Franklin. This is Dr. Feelgood. A little bit different than Motley Crue. But we'll listen to this, have Aretha take us to the timeout. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
My man. I don't want nobody. Always.
You have opinions?
I think they got a lot of athletic ability.
We want to hear them.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
Call us on the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 67129.
I'm a big fan of Town Village, and there is always something to do year-round. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, theme dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Before you drive the all-new Nissan Rogue, you gotta ask yourself, how rogue are you gonna go? We talking find your spirit animal in the desert rogue? Build an igloo in the middle of nowhere rogue? Or take the long way home just because kind of rogue? Just a question, but with 5 available drive modes, you're sure to find the answer.
Go rogue in the all-new, fiercely reimagined 2021 Nissan Rogue, now with the most standard safety features in its class. See Owner's Manual for important safety information. Auto Pacific segmentation. 2021 Nissan Rogue versus latest in market competitors. Base models compared.
Buy your next car or truck at Streamline Auto Smart. Your next smart decision. All credit welcome. Drive off in your new, low-mileage, pre-owned car or truck. From low-end cars to the most luxurious sports car. Ask about the 48-hour vehicle locator. Let Streamline Auto Smart do the looking for you. Close your deal within 1 hour. No waiting. It's quick and easy at Streamline Auto Smart. Your next smart decision. 2558 Mount Moriah. Call Streamline Auto Smart 901-235-8845. Your next smart decision.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, 0 heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. 0 heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride.
We're going to talk some NFL in just a moment. Thank you to everybody who sent their texts in, or sent their lists in via text or Facebook or any of the social media platforms. And apologies that we didn't get your lists in. It is just, again, I don't know how Savoy does this thing, how he deciphers this. I guess you got to look at the phone numbers and then just keep going, but it should be on one simple text, you would think. By the way, Ray, who always sends us a list, did send that one list in. He was the one who brought up Robert Palmer and the videos about Robert Palmer. Somebody said, turn off Robert Palmer and throw some mineral water on Greg. All right. Couple of other things that were texted in before we get into the NFL. We were talking about Brady White, and somebody said, you don't make many mistakes and set passing records at Memphis, and they are exactly right. Somebody also said, encouraging to see some of the talent that the Tigers have signed get some playing time Saturday. Weaver, Martin, Taylor, Owens, just to name a few. Thank you, Coach Ryan, for watching my posts on 56 about run 2 plays and pass 1 every series. Also use Washington and Austin equally, talking about Taj and Calvin, the receivers. And I would use Rodgers on returns. That should do it. Go Tigers. Is that all? Rodgers ended up being used later in the game, but I don't know what was going on because I don't think the last couple of games they used Rodgers, but they like him a lot. I know that. Somebody texted in and says, it was great to see the large crowd at Auburn Saturday night. As for Tennessee, it was a bad decision to stay with Garantano this year. Harrison Bailey. Yeah, I think the kid should have gotten more playing time early in the season. And I don't know. The whole quarterback situation has been botched since Pruitt's been there. They have to figure that thing out. And it was a big crowd. I don't know what they ended up having in there at Jordan-Hare, but it seemed like a lot of fans. I don't know if you watched any of that game, Gabe.
I did.
What were the numbers?
I don't know the exact numbers, but it looked relatively full.
They said, I got your spike in COVID right here. My gosh, there were a lot of people. Another text, Cincinnati just needs a team or two to stumble. Cincinnati's really good, talking about their chances of making it to the playoffs. We were talking earlier about cranberry sauce. Somebody said no cranberry sauce or potato salad for me. I can do potato salad, not on Thanksgiving, but I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have it. We don't use it on Thanksgiving, but potato salad's okay. Cranberry sauce, just the texture. I just have an issue with that. Let's see. The Oklahoma game Saturday night looked to be 70% of capacity and very little social distancing. It felt very close to that normal feeling we need so much. Yeah, I watched some of that game as well. And it did seem like it was packed. I don't know what the exact numbers were. By the way, that Oklahoma State game, another one of these. I'm having fun just throwing a few dollars here and there. I'm not some compulsive gambler. I just like having to play a little bit. And that one was weird because Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, the over-under was 59.5, and they had 54 or something like that. Whatever it was, all they needed was a touchdown. Didn't even need the conversion. And there were 2 minutes to go. And Oklahoma State has the ball at the 2-yard line of Oklahoma because Oklahoma got a pass interference call in the end zone. So they put the ball at the 2. 2 minutes to go. They're not going to win the game. They're too far behind. But they're trying to score a touchdown for their pride. Oklahoma's trying to keep them out for their pride. 4 straight passes, not even close. If he throws the touchdown, I got a nice parlay. I got the over-under in that game. Instead of Chuba Hubbard getting one carry at least to go in for 2 yards out, for goodness sake.
I saw your tweet. You made a new word for can't win a parlay, CWAP. But
yes,
you realize that parlays, the odds are like that for a reason. They're tough to get.
I know, to hit. But all I'm doing is a two-team or a 2-thing parlay. I'm not doing like 5 or 6 things or 7 things. It's just like simple things that I'm doing. And it's not so simple, obviously. You got any more texts here that we got to read before we get to the NFL?
No texts at the moment.
See, you're not getting them over there. I'm getting a few here.
But yeah, it was for you to miss that over in a Oklahoma State game on a goal line stand by the Oklahoma defense. That's pretty rough. I can't lie to you.
Somebody did text and said it is so shameful that whomever Evansville or the NCAA is delaying or resuming that young man's collegiate career at Memphis. If this situation doesn't warrant an approval, what does? It's so ridiculous. That comes from Raider Corey. I thought that one was a given. I thought in the summer the NCAA would rule on that. But this is a situation where I don't believe it's the NCAA's fault because Evansville's not giving them any help. They're not giving Memphis help. They're not giving NCAA the information they need to be able to grant this immediate transfer. Where obviously he's with the team but can play, immediate eligibility. So this is more on Evansville as opposed to the NCAA, and hopefully they will be able to rectify it soon because I would imagine they've caught a lot of the bad pub from a lot of Memphis fans.
But I think the thought is, yes, it's on Evansville, but I think the NCAA has the final say in this matter, so you have to put most of the onus on the NCAA.
Yeah, but they can't use.
Well, their rulings are so arbitrary, and
they are, Gabe. But they also have. They can't just like, okay, this is the right thing to do, so we will go ahead and do that. they try to take their emotions and their feelings out of it, and they do have some criteria. The criteria may be different for everything, and it seems very arbitrary, and at times it is arbitrary. But when Evansville says, no, we had a scholarship for him. So it wasn't like he had to leave. But when you have to deal with 3 different coaches and your original coach gets into trouble with the law, I mean, this one seemed like it was an absolute no-brainer. And that poor kid is not able to play just yet. And again, as we said earlier, Musa Cisse is able to play, but it is the NCAA. So he might play this week, and then who knows what happens next week. That's just how crazy things are. All right, we go to the NFL. There's a statement that was just released by the Baltimore Ravens. Late last night, we were informed that multiple members of the Baltimore Ravens organization tested positive for COVID-19, and those individuals immediately began to self-quarantine. We have started the process of contact tracing, and during this time, the Under Armour Performance Center will be closed with all team activities conducted virtually. We will continue to work closely with and follow guidance from the NFL, team doctors, and our medical trainers. That comes from the Ravens. Well, what does it mean for the Titans? They played the Ravens. Have we come to a conclusion that people are not getting COVID from actual physical closeness, activity, hits, things of that nature? I mean, because wouldn't you think the Titans, having just played a game against some of those players, would also have to go into contact, would have to go into isolation for contact tracing?
You would think, but we haven't really seen people actually get the contact tracing back to a game. It's all like even in college when there's 2 teams that had COVID that played against each other and more people come down with it. It's usually about a party, an off-campus party or something else. For the Raiders, it was a charity event where they're. But I have a hard time believing that it hasn't at all been passed on a football field.
That was the big story going into the fall with football. That it wasn't, well, with college, there was always the worry about, the parties and things of that nature. But it was like you're playing a physical game. You're hitting into each other. There's spit flying. You're right near in proximity, closeness to these players. That it's going to be just crazy how many people are going to get it from that. We don't know. But it doesn't seem like that the bulk of the COVID-19 positive tests have come from the actual games itself and the physical closeness and contact.
But there seems to be every week a group of players that come down with COVID-19 the Monday after their games.
Right, but the games continue.
Yes.
Again, the Ravens are isolating those players. Those players played in the game against the Titans. So what are the Titans doing? Do they have to do anything? What's the mandate from the NFL? Speaking of that game, for the second straight year, of course, the Titans knocked them out of the playoffs last year. They beat Lamar Jackson and company in overtime 30-24 to improve to 7-3. Ravens dropped to 6-4. 4 losses now for the Ravens, but a huge win for the Titans. And Derrick Henry was his monster self. 29-yard touchdown run in overtime. He ends up 28 carries, 133 yards, and a touchdown. That, of course, the game winner. Lamar Jackson, 17 of 29, buck 86, a touchdown and a pick, 13 rushes for 51 yards. Lamar Jackson caught some grief last year in the postseason. If Baltimore doesn't make the playoffs, that would be absolutely crazy. But I would assume they'll make it. But they need to do something, or there will continue to be some finger pointing at Lamar Jackson. It's not just LJ, but certainly he's going to have to win some big games in the postseason for people to get off his back.
Well, the Browns just pulled ahead of the Ravens in the AFC North, if you're not watching. But
So is Baltimore out if the playoffs were to start this week?
I don't know if they're out because remember
expanded
this year.
Seven
I don't have that right in front of me. I would assume they're probably right there on the edge.
Yeah,
no question. They're 6-4.
It's 7 in each conference right now, but it could expand to 8 in each conference if there's any games that are missed that cannot be made up.
Did you notice the Des Bryant sighting in that game?
Yes, I did.
How about it?
It's nice.
Throwing him some screen passes out to the edge, even though he does not look like his old. He's not very fast anymore.
No, but sometimes you have to swallow your pride when you're given an offer to become a member of a practice squad. You do so, and then maybe you'll get that opportunity. New Orleans beat Atlanta 24-9. I think Eli and I got into a debate about Taysom Hill one day last week. I said, look, Taysom Hill threw the ball well at BYU. And in this game, 233 yards passing, but it was his running, again, that was a thorn in the side for Atlanta. 10 carries, 51 yards, 2 touchdowns. Matt Ryan, a couple of picks. And the Saints win 24-9. They're on a roll. Even without Drew Brees, they're now 8-2.
I don't doubt that Sean Payton knows what's best for his team, what's best for them to win ball games. But Taysom Hill throwing the ball, there was a lot of suspect throws against the Falcons. Luckily, they were playing the Falcons. The Falcons have taught themselves how to lose, so it wasn't that hard to go win that game. But Taysom Hill, to me, if they're talking about quarterback for the future, I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sold on that either. And he said it was a tough decision between Jameis and Taysom for the starting job in this game. But Hill's 1-0 as the starter. The Washington football team, 20-9 over Cincinnati. 2 things out of that game that merits repeating. Antonio Gibson, first of all, 16 carries, 94 yards, a touchdown. He also had a catch in 10 yards, and Gibson has now had a touchdown, I believe, or like 6 touchdowns in his last 5 games, something like that. Antonio really paying dividends for the football team. And then, of course, the bigger story was Joe Burrow, as it looks like apparently he's lost for the season. We haven't heard anything definitive yet today. First, it was an ACL, I heard. Then it was a knee. So I don't know exactly what the injury is, but it does not appear that Joe Burrow is going to be able to play again in this his rookie season. It may cost him, could cost him the Rookie of the Year award, but that offensive line is so bad for Cincinnati that they better put some money into that offensive line in the offseason with free agency and in the draft.
The only thing we know for certain is Joe Burrow's tweet, and what he said was, "Thanks for all the love. Can't get rid of me that easy. See you next year." So the implication on that one is that he will be out for the year. It's a knee of some sort. But I was watching NFL Red Zone yesterday, as I normally do on my Sunday, and they zoomed all the way in to go see that injury. It was bad, very bad.
I don't watch. I just can't watch. It's.
I didn't want to.
It turns my stomach. I know
they forced it upon me.
No,
I didn't get a choice in the matter.
But Cincinnati better do something with that offensive line, or they're going to kill this poor guy early in his career. Carolina shut out Detroit 20-0. That surprised me. Teddy Bridgewater couldn't go. McCaffrey's out. And they shut out the Lions. I think Patricia's in trouble. P.J. Walker, who played in the Alliance, played at Temple, right? He was the Temple quarterback.
Temple guy.
Starts at quarterback for Carolina. Goes 24, 34, 258, a touchdown, a couple of picks, but he did enough. Of course, Carolina didn't have DeAndre Swift, but they were held to 185 total yards of offense.
For those people that watched P.J. Walker at Temple, at this point, I don't know if he's Philip Walker or P.J. Walker. He's changed 1.5 million times. I cannot tell. But he played relatively well.
In a game that surprised nobody, Pittsburgh over Jacksonville 27-3. Steelers remain the only undefeated team at 10-0. So the bubbly is still on ice at Mercury Morris's house. Jacksonville falls to 1-9. Jake Luton, welcome to the NFL. I know he's played a few games, but 4 interceptions. Not good. New England loses at Houston. Just when you thought they turned the corner, they lose to the Texans. Deshaun Watson was terrific. Cam Newton had a good game, 26 of 40, 365 and a touchdown. But they lose to the Texans and fall to 4-6.
We can't hold this season of losses against Deshaun Watson for the rest of his career. I just have to get that out of the way. He did everything he could.
I love him.
He has done absolutely everything in his power to get these 3 wins. They're 3-7. They have no chance at the playoffs, but he has still been his phenomenal self.
2 touchdowns passing, 1 touchdown rushing for Deshaun Watson. This one surprised me, number one, and what happened with Tua surprised me as well. Denver beats Miami 20-13, and that ends that winning streak for the Dolphins as they fall to 6-4. But Tua was benched late in the game for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, Brian Flores has come out and said that Tua is the starting quarterback still moving forward. But were you surprised that Tua was pulled? I know he was only 11 of 20 for 83 yards and a touchdown pass. But Fitzpatrick comes in, throws for 117, throws a key pick at the end of the game. Were you surprised at all?
I was, and the reason was I maybe there's other things behind the scenes that I don't see. Maybe Tua held on to the ball too much, but he got sacked 6 times. It's not like the rest of his offense was doing him any favors. I didn't see Tua as the problem. I didn't think he was playing very well, but I thought the offense as a whole was pretty bad.
Jets remain the only winless team in the NFL. They're 0-10. They lose to the Chargers 34-28. The Chargers, every game is like this. Every game is crazy with a lot of points, exciting. Justin Herbert, 37 of 49, 366, and 3 touchdowns. Joe Flacco, a couple touchdown passes and a pick for the New York Jets. The Packers and the Colts, maybe the game of the day. My Colts win 34-31 in overtime. Both teams now at 7-3. So at the end of the game, when the Colts, of course, the Colts hold the Packers to 3 points in the second half. So the defense comes up big. But on that last drive with the game-tying field goal, I thought they went again into that prevent defense, which usually prevents you from winning. But in overtime, they were able to do it behind the old man, Phillip Rivers. 3 touchdown passes. Aaron Rodgers, 3 touchdown passes as well. But the Colts, on that drive on their drive at the end of the game, actually they tied it up, right, with the field goal. And that drive, I don't know what was going on. I thought the officials were in the bag or something. They called a hold every play. And I know you can, if you look closely, probably call hold every play, although Gabe Kuhn never held in his entire career with the University of Memphis.
You got that right.
Gabe, that was nuts. They were calling holding on every play against the Colts. I started to wonder.
And Quentin Nelson, obviously the Colts star left guard, they were calling some ticky-tack ones on him where I was kind of taken aback by those. I didn't think those were warranted, but they pulled out the win.
They did get the win. Dallas gets a win against Minnesota. Bad loss for the Vikings. The Dallas Cowboys improved to 3-7, winning 31-28. Hey, the Red Rifles back. Andy Dalton leads the team to a win, 3 touchdown passes and a pick. Kirk Cousins threw 3 touchdowns in a losing effort. And Tony Pollard had a big 42-yard touchdown run for Dallas, the former Memphis Tiger.
And the NFC East just continues to give back. Every team right now with 3 wins. The Eagles in first with the 1 tie, so every team is a half game away, half game out of the number 1 spot. I guess it's just a toss-up at this point.
Yeah, the Eagles at the top of the Delta Pledge class at 3-6-1. The other 3 are 3-7. And you have Dallas and you have the football team playing on Thanksgiving.
It still makes me angry to think about one of these teams is going to get home field advantage.
Get over it.
Get over it. You can't tell me that doesn't bother you.
Cleveland beat Philly 22-17. They're 7-3. Nick Chubb. It's always nice to have Chubb in the lineup. 20 carries, 114 yards. And Wentz with 2 more picks. And once again, the rumblings in Philadelphia put Jalen Hurts into the game. And then finally, last night's game. That was another good one. Chiefs over the Raiders, 35-31. The Raiders are vastly improved. And they had a chance to win it. But Patrick Mahomes, you give him any time on the clock. I don't care if it's 20 seconds. He's going to find a way. He hits Travis Kelce with 28 seconds left with the game-winning touchdown. And the Chiefs get the victory over the Raiders. Hell of a game.
Not a single doubt that good old Patrick Mahomes was going to go down and score.
He is just fun to watch. It's also fun to play some of these games in moderation at FanDuel Sportsbook because sports gambling in Tennessee is now legal. You can place your first bet on FanDuel Sportsbook risk-free. Get up to $1,000 back if you don't win. Seriously, no strings attached. Just place any bet you want. If you win, you keep the cash. If you lose, you'll get your entire bet up to $1,000 back in bonus site credit so you can take another shot at the end zone on the house. And with FanDuel Sportsbook, generous risk-free bets are just the beginning. They've got a simple app, live betting on every game, exhilarating bet types such as same-game parlays when you combine multiple bets from one game into a single parlay. And once you win on FanDuel Sportsbook, they get you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. So it's easy to use, easy to deposit your money, easy to find your bet. They have odd boosts and specials. To claim your risk-free bet, just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and be sure to sign up with promo code GASMAN so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code GASMAN. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. When we return, we'll put the final touch on this busy Monday edition of Sports 56 Middays. We've got a few more news and notes to get to, and we'll wrap it up with one final thing. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home. at 98.5.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on Covington Pike. And we're going to blow you away with what you save. 2020 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4-wheel drive IAHS top safety pick. We Gossett at $20,736 or $259 a month. Or power up your game in a 2020 Dodge Charger $24,320 or $299 a month. And get rammed up in a 2020 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab 4x2 $29,656 or $396 a month. And 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x2 $29,878 or $398 a month. Drive past the rest. Come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1901 Covington Pike. Online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost finance through Chrysler, 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.11 APR. Renegade, LPM 02132, MSRP 26,580. Charger, LH 167053, MSRP 31,490. Tradesman, LG 29329, MSRP 37,855. Cherokee, LC 403192, MSRP 35,495. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2020 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Get your gun, Nelly, and saddle up Penelope as Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on over 800 new Buicks and GMCs, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 150 in stock. Sunrise has rustled up a good-looking herd of cars and trucks under $99.95. Ranch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help put your brand on one of these little fillies. Come on in and save some money during Western Trading Days at Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. Cars cost less at Sunrise, partner.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
He was a hard-headed man. He was brutally handsome. She was terminally pretty.
Final segment here on Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Gabe Kuhn, Eli off today. We'll join back into the fray tomorrow for our Tuesday edition. I neglected to give you our topic for 5 favorite songs for tomorrow, so let me do that now. Tomorrow, you can use gold, silver, diamonds, any of those jewels or riches, whatever you want to call it, any combination. Maybe there's a song with all three in the title. But gold, silver, diamonds needs to be in the title of your song for 5 favorite songs tomorrow. Also, tomorrow we'll have our NFL 3 stars from week number 11. We'll have Humdinger's Trivia, 2.5 questions. Connor O'Gara will join us from Saturday Down South, and Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis. Again, we'll have the Rams and the Bucks for you Monday Night Football tonight right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5. A couple of other things. We didn't get to mention it because we just had so much going on, but what did you think of the Purdue-Minnesota game from Friday where Purdue seemed to have gotten jobbed? I didn't even see it, but Purdue, according to everybody, got absolutely jobbed on a phantom offensive pass interference call.
Looked like he was going to the corner, and there was no separation really as far as him pushing off, and they still called it. I know that a lot of the sports book did like bet forgiveness on that if you bet the Purdue side of that. Yeah, so it must have been, and I saw it live. I didn't see the entire replay of it, but it must have been pretty egregious.
Has the Big Ten come out with a statement yet?
I don't think so, not yet.
Wow. This is from Jeff Goodman from the Stadium site who covers college basketball. He said, "Dear NCAA, it's been a brutal last 9 months. You gave everyone their year back anyway. Season starts in 48 hours. Time is running out. Just clear all the transfers, whether it's DeAndre Williams, Ben Stanley, LJ Figueroa, or I don't know who this other guy is. Have a heart and just let them play." And I would agree 100% with that. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. Let these guys play. If you missed it, they won't be playing at Ole Miss for a while. They have shut down basketball activities until December 7th. That means the Justin Reed event at the Pavilion is off, and also the game against the Memphis Tigers scheduled for December 5th. That is off. The University of Tennessee will not be playing this week. Their basketball program also shut down. Rick Barnes has tested positive for COVID-19. Duke is not playing in their opener. Arizona is not playing in their opener. Florida is not headed up to the Mohegan Sun for that event. But the University of Memphis is flying out today. They are headed to Sioux Falls, South Dakota for the Bad Boy Mowers Crossover Classic, which begins on Wednesday at 1 o'clock as they will take on St. Mary's. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
So this is pretty incredible. In an unprecedented meeting, a delegation of 5 NBA players and several officials from the National Basketball Players Association met with Pope Francis at the Vatican today. Private audience to discuss their work on social justice issues. How did this happen? Well, an assistant to Pope Francis reached out to the Players Association last week, indicating the Pope wanted to learn more about how players had recently brought attention to pressing social justice issues and economic inequality and what they planned for the future. So the union agreed and quickly scheduled an overnight flight Sunday to make their private meeting with the Pope happen. It happened at 11:45 a.m. local time in Rome, Monday morning at the Vatican. I guess Vatican City, technically. Kyle Korver, Sterling Brown, Jonathan Isaac, Marco Bellinelli, and Anthony Tolliver, who played with the Grizzlies for part of last season, were the players that met with the Pope. Also, Michelle Roberts, the executive director of the Players Union. That's pretty
something.
amazing.
That's really all. I saw that, and that's awesome.
How about
cool.
the Pope being that in tune with what's going on and wanting to know more about that? That is really, really cool.
He actually the Pope had a Instagram mess up last week. I don't know if you saw that, where he liked the Instagram model's sort of nearly nude photo.
Oh, give the Pope
and
a break.
I don't even think it was him. It was probably whoever runs his account, but nonetheless, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Can the Pope dunk? You think the Pope can dunk? Wonder if they shot some baskets.
Can you dunk?
No, but I'm not the Pope. The Pope can fly, baby. What do you got?
My thing here, the Browns continue to sort of be without Myles Garrett. This week, they were without him for the 22-17 victory over Philly. And then he's already been told that he will not be playing next week. He leads the league with 9.5 sacks. Without starting this weekend, Olivier Vernon sort of picked up the ball for him and got those sacks and helped that team win. But apparently he cannot return to the team until at least 10 days after the start of symptoms, plus at least 24 hours after the symptoms have passed. Obviously, the Browns paid him that gigantic contract in the offseason, and they're 7-3 with their best record through 10 games since 1994, but they will be without their star DN for another week.
Once again, Rams-Bucks tonight. We'll have that game for you right here on Sports 56. Tomorrow, it will be the first rankings from the College Football Playoff Committee. We will discuss everything tomorrow on the program. Eli will be rejoining us tomorrow for the show, which will begin at promptly 10 o'clock. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio is coming up next. Big thanks to Barrett Sallee for joining us on the program today. Connor O'Gara and Jeff Crane on the schedule list, or on the guest list for tomorrow. That'll do it for us for today. For Gabe Kuhn and Eli Savoy, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great Monday, everybody.
The world's gone to hell, and we're sure gonna